Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Knights of the Dawn podcast. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Megan.
And we are here for the final episode of Book 5 of Fablehaven, Keys to the Demon Prison by Brandon Mull.
Woo!
It's been a while, and surprise, you're getting this on the same day as episode 30. Episode 31, episode 30, same day release. We wanted to reward you guys for your extended patience.
Yeah,
with our many technical difficulties.
We didn't want to make you wait another week to get the last 4 chapters of the book, but we did have to split them into 2 episodes, so...
But yes, we are very hopeful. We're going to get this out as soon as possible, and we're going to have a great time doing it, because this is it. The final 4 chapters. We're going to be doing today chapters 27, Knights of the Dawn, through 30, A New Shrine, and then we're done. We'll probably do one more episode after that, kind of debriefing how we feel about not just this book, but about the entire
series. Do an overview of the series, yeah.
Yes, exactly. But besides that, this is the home stretch.
This is the last commentary of the chapters for Fablehaven.
And boy, has it been a ride.
Wow. All right, so should we dive right in?
Let's get it.
All right. So... you probably finished the last episode. If you're just listening to this one, you maybe just finished the last episode a few moments ago.
And if you have not gone and listened to that episode, make sure you go and do that right now. This is episode 31. We also released episode 30 today. If you've not yet listened to episode 30, go listen to that one first. Just wanted to make sure we clarified that.
Yeah. So we're on chapter 27, Knights of the Dawn, and the last chapter ended with the prison opening.
That was like the final 4 words. The demon prison opened.
Yep.
So definitely sets the stage.
Yes. All right, so as you remember from last chapter, Bracken has assigned all of the humans their own, well, not just humans. Newland Dorn also have one. Everyone has an Astrid bodyguard, and Seth and Kendra both have 2. And Seth is kind of meeting his Astrid bodyguards, and... he's just kind of talking to them a little bit, being like, so how did you even get the orders to guard me? And they're like, well, we could talk telepathically to Bracken, so.
Mm-hmm. We also get some names. They have Seth of his 2 Astrids. One of them is brawny, the other one's a little bit taller, has some short spears, one of them has a hammer. Just a quick description.
Yeah.
Their names are Parador and Denwyn.
Yep.
So.
Those are pretty cool names.
Pretty good, like,
fantasy names. Yeah, no, yeah. I think they're really good.
Same thought there. But yeah, so, interesting enough, Bracken actually is able to telepathically, that is the word,
yes,
telepathically convey any orders and instructions to any of the magical creatures' forces.
Yeah, all of them.
So... any of the asteroids, probably the unicorns and fairies. And possibly the dryads.
The dryads.
As well, when they
probably
pop
like
out.
all of the fairy folk is what I'm just gonna call them. The fairy folk.
Yeah, I like
not to be confused with the fair folk.
Oh yeah, yay!
But that's Dragon Watch, so that doesn't matter right now.
Indeed.
So Seth uses his handy-dandy binoculars from his emergency kit. Shout out, emergency kit. Mm-hmm. Haven't seen that in a while.
No, indeed.
To see the first demons coming out of the prison. And he describes some of them, so we're going to read some of them. In the lead slithered a muscular woman with 4 arms and the body of a serpent. Near her limped a pale man, considerably taller than a regular person, his body pocked with sores. His long, spindly arms and legs gave him spidery proportions. Man, I'm struggling today. It's gross.
Yeah.
Slaver dripped down his slack mouth, and buttery goo clogged around his red eyes. On the other side of the snake woman pattered an enormous wolf with crooked fangs that protruded like tusks and fur as dark as ink. And so Seth is like, do you guys know who these people are? These demons are?
Well, I mean, and it makes sense, because, like, he's dealing with... like, his bodyguards are immortal warriors.
Yeah.
Who were probably
present
for many of the fights with these guys, for sure. Maybe not at this, like, at the Sealing Way, because at that point they probably would have been banished at that point. Well, no, maybe not.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I feel like we could pull in a little bit of information from Dragon Watch, but because we don't know that for sure yet, we're just going to leave that. But yeah, they could have very well been there when the demons were sealed away. Huh. But yeah, so the tall, skinny one with the excessively disgusting description is Zorat the Plague Man. I guess you gotta be good at one thing, really, to be called the something
sickness
man.
The plague.
The Plague Man, like basketball guy. Like it's like her whole personality.
It's his specialty.
He's just a guy with a boomerang. He didn't ask for all this flying and magic.
And Parador says, without the unicorns, he could wipe us all out with disease. So, the first one that they see is already, like, pretty formidable in his power. Mm-hmm. So, that just kind of sets the stage.
And, as well, the woman with 4 arms, her name is Ixeria?
Ixeria, yeah.
That'd be my best guess.
Me too.
A mentor to witches and hags, referred to as a greater demon. And the wolf is Dinbador. Darkness and fear increase his size.
Ooh.
Kind of gives me Standing Dead vibes, like, the more you fear them, the more danger they are to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so...
And then the next demon that comes out is significant. It's a shirtless mountain of a man with an iron collar around his neck and a steel mask over his face. In one hand he clutched a gigantic flanged mace, in the other a tremendous morning star. Beneath gray elephantine skin and thick layers of blubber, rotund muscles swelled with every movement. And that is Brogo, who's one of the sons of Gorgrog, who's the demon king.
Mm-hmm. They say he is arguably the strongest demon in history, one of the first locked up in Zizix, which is interesting there. It implies that the banishment of demons was a process, not an event.
Yeah. Yeah, that it had to happen over time. Which I guess makes sense when you think about it. All the demons wouldn't normally be in one place.
Exactly. Yes, I agree. It wasn't like there was like this one final battle where they were all just like pushed back. Their lines were pushed back into this, or they were forced to retreat into the prison. It was like they had to get them, put them in, go track them down from everywhere, which is intense.
Yeah, it says Brogo single-handedly felled forests, smashed monuments, and crushed armies and destroyed cities. So,
they're sending out some heavy hitters first.
Yeah. And he just kind of goes on saying, like, describing and, like, generalizing, like, the descriptions of a lot of the other demons. It says, more demons poured out alongside and behind Brogo. Some walked on 2 legs, some on 4, some on 6. Others slithered, others jumped, others rolled, others had wings. Some had horns or tentacles, or shells or scales, or quills, or fur. Many wore armor and bore weapons. Some had heads like dragons, others like jackals, panthers, humans, or insects. Several stood larger than Hugo. A few lounged on litters borne by underlings.
Makes me wonder about, like, the demon hierarchy. Like, at what point do you become, so vaulted and lauded as a demon that you can have other demons carry you, and what do you have to do to be one of the carriers? Mm-hmm. But, I digress.
So this whole horde is beginning to come out, and everyone's, a little intimidated. It's a little scary. But Bracken says that what they're seeing is good. After, he's saying that, like, after their years and years of imprisonment, he sees some leaders among the demons coming out because they're so anxious to be out, and that is good for their plan.
And especially because some of them are notorious cowards, he says.
Yeah.
They love destruction, they love mayhem, but they will be hesitant to risk their own necks because they prefer just to be able to bully other people, other demons, etc. Mm-hmm. So he knows if he can get to those leaders, he can try to sow some, not dissent, but chaos among the ranks. So Seth hurries over to Bracken because he has an idea. Because he's seeing all of these towering, terrible, terrifying demons, and he's like, okay, I'm not equipped to deal with this. How about you take Vasilis? I'm sure you will be able to do a much better job with it than I could.
And Bracken is like, well, that's actually not true. That is a noble gesture. However, I have my sword of my second horn, and while Vasilis would be good in my hands, it will honestly be better off in your hands, so you should keep your sword. But, props to Seth for being willing to give it up.
For having the humility to realize that he's not built like that.
Yeah.
He can take out, like, he can take out a revenant, he can take out lesser demons, but when he's dealing with demon royalty, he's like, this is not my lane yet.
Yet.
Like, I can get there maybe one day, but right now, no.
I like how Bracken, like, says it. He says, like, you're wrong, Seth. A sword like Basilisk does not always connect to a new master as is connected to you. You and the Sword of Light and Darkness complement each other. I can sense that in my hands it would be a fine weapon, but it would fail to draw power from my mind and heart as it does from yours. I will fare just as well using my horn. Keep your blade.
Mm-hmm. Bracken is definitely, he's trying to keep his mortal companions safe. He's like, yes. When Vanessa and Warren are like, what can we do? How do we help? They're like, he's like, just hold back. You guys don't have wings. You can't harry the enemy. Let them spill out of it. Let them come to us. Let's keep the high ground.
Mm-hmm. And Bracken is also, he keeps saying that we need to spread the fight as much as possible. So right now, those who have wings can do that a lot. They can, like you said, harass them and like pull them to like different areas on the battlefield. So they can't quite do anything yet.
And then just just randomly out of nowhere, the Sphinx pops in. And I'm really surprised nobody punched him. I really wanted somebody to punch him. Well, he would have so deserved it.
Not only does he appear, but in his hands he has the translocator, the chronometer, and the font of immortality.
He still would deserve a punch.
He deserves a punch.
Like, even just Warren, clock him.
Yeah.
Vanessa, hit him. Trask, please, somebody, clock him.
Any of my enemy is my friend right now, Jessica. They don't have time for that.
They're not fighting right now. They could have clocked him one real quick.
They have to work together.
I would have been happy if Bracken
Jessica,
died.
I know you want to see people punch him, but they don't have time for that right now. Oh, and I love how Bracken is, like, not phased at all, and that's how we know that this was, like, part of the plan.
Yeah, he's probably just been in communication with the coin the entire time.
He's just been waiting for it to happen.
And the fact that he's also very unimpressed, because without even saying hello or anything, he's like, the other 2 artifacts? You were supposed to bring 5, sir, not 3.
Yeah, and the Sphinx,
I will take that.
That's true. And the Sphinx is like, I came as soon as I could. Nagi Luna will not let go of the Oculus, and Growlithe is the same with the Sands of Sanctity. He said the only reason that he was able to get away now is because Gorgrog has just emerged from his place in the prison.
Reminder, King of Demons, not just another, like, High Lord, no,
King
the guy.
Of Demons, the guy, the head honcho. Mm-hmm. And so, because he was coming out of the prison, or where he was in the prison, there was less attention on the artifacts and on the Sphinx, and so he says that he killed Mr. Lich to get them.
Not just killed, he said he had to garrote. Isn't that how you pronounce it? Garrote? Like,
I don't know what that means, but... Oh. Strangle?
I'm pretty sure that's what, getting a garrote, I think, is described as, like, a thin cord that you wrap around somebody's neck and just pull. Which, I mean, makes sense if he's trying to sneak away. It's a very silent way of...
I mean, we know the Sphinx is a psycho, so...
Like, let me confirm that that's the definition.
He was kind of happy to do that.
Yep. Kill someone with strangulation, typically with an iron collar or a length of wire or cord. Yeah. A garrote can also be referred to as just a wire, cord, or apparatus used to strangle someone.
Yeah, and Seth is like, you killed your friend? And then the Sphinx, being the psycho that he is, says, he sided with the demons against me, the Sphinx said. His willful treachery helped create this disaster. I thanked him appropriately. It's that last sentence, I'm like,
oh, you have issues, man.
Yup.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, if Mr. Lich had not been willing to side with the demons, they would have been a bit hamstringed. If both the Sphinx and Mr. Lich had said, no, we're not going to help you, they would have not had a mortal who was capable of going back in time to use the chronometer and and initiate the process of opening Zizix.
Uh-huh.
So, really, like, Mr. Lich did have this coming in some way, shape, or form, but so does the Sphinx. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
It's not surprising, but it is just like, oh gosh. Mm-hmm. Then they're like, so what are we doing with the artifacts? And Bracken's like, well, my plan, which I'm still not telling you, hinges on having all of the artifacts. So he's like, ask the Sphinx if he will lead a strike force back into the prison to get the Oculus and the Sands of Sanctity.
Mm-hmm. The Sphinx even gets a weapon from Trask, who I believe at this point has the Grey Assassins. That's
yes.
it,
yeah.
Like, the Sphinx even recognized. He's like, oh, this is the Grey Assassin's blade. That'll do.
He's like, this'll work. So Bracken assigns 2 Astrids, Targron and Sylvestris, to go with the Sphinx to retrieve the artifacts.
But their priority is not to try and fight at all. It is just to get the artifacts. Mm-hmm. And for clarification, where they're trying to get to is... Because the prison's lock, or the door of the prison is inside that huge, like, dome that was cracked open at the end of the last chapter. So that's kind of like the demon's staging area, and I'm assuming that's what Gorgrog emerged into when that will allow the Sphinx to escape with distraction.
Like an antechamber or something.
Yes, I think it is how we described it before. Yeah, it's like it's an antechamber, an entrance hall, things like that. Mm-hmm. And so they need to teleport into there using the translocator, snatch the artifacts, and then just dip.
Yeah. And only the Sphinx has been there, obviously, so he's the only one that can take people back. And
now Seth, though, chimes in. He's like, hey, I got a score to settle. Take me in. Put me in, coach. Put me in, General. General, entrust me with the command at every day.
He dismisses me out of hand.
Except this time he does not. Sorry.
There's our Hamilton quote. Mm-hmm. Bracken, to his credit, does hesitate and kind of glances over at Kendra, and Kendra's like, no. But Bracken, being the general, knows that Seth, with his sword...
He even looks specifically at the sword, it says.
Yes. Very valuable. And so he decides, we have to do what we gotta do. Seth, go with them. With your bodyguards.
Only one of them, though. He only says Parador. Which, I mean, makes sense when it comes to using the translocator, only being able to transport 3 people. Like, you have the Sphinx. He'll take the 2 asteroids initially designated, Targaron and Sylvestris, and then come back for Seth and Parador.
Yeah.
And so, 2 sets of... Like, 1 driver with 2 sets of 2 passengers.
5 people in total.
5 people in total.
2 and
Not
2.
Not a heck of a strike force, but hopefully it'll be enough.
But hey, I mean, 3 Astrids, 2 Shadow Charmers.
You make a good point.
1 with a legendary blade, and 1 with a blade that is probably slightly less legendary, like the Grey Assassin's blade. I don't know.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty good. Kendra is just like, I'm not happy about this, but she doesn't say anything.
Yeah. There's no time to talk. We just have to go with it.
So their best moment arrives to jump in because here comes Gorgrog. And we get a lovely description for this monster. A bellow of rage and triumph, easily overpowering the clamor of battle, came from the rift in the dome. An enormous figure came striding from the crack. A humanoid with a tremendous rack of contorted antlers. Body covered in thick fur, the personage stood taller than Hugo, but shorter than the colossal Brogo. In defiance of the direct glare from the rising sun, darkness rippled around him. One fist held a huge, elaborate sword, edges bristling with spikes and serrations. Several corpses dragged on the ground behind him, affixed to his wide belt by black chains. An iron crown hugged the base of the antlers, atop a bullish head. Gorgrog, Bracken said. And the Sphinx immediately says, well, I'm out.
Time to move is now.
And just dips.
He's
which
like, okay,
I
bye.
find funny.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. He's like, no time like the present.
See ya. So, our POV follows Seth as he is transported into the dome. Yeah. So we lose sight of Gorgrog and the rest of our friends. It's just the 5 of them now trying to make a bid for the 2 artifacts. And so we finally get a description of what's inside of the dome.
Mm-hmm. It says, enough sunlight gleamed through the... I'm going to start over. Enough sunlight gleamed through the gaping crack in one wall to light the dome, but persistent shadows remained off to the sides. The ceiling seemed to curve impossibly high. At the center of the room, demons continued to emerge from a circular void in the floor. The real gateway of Zyzzyx.
Yeah. So we have like a big dome. We have some space. And I imagine most of the demons are not really going to focus on three asteroids and 2 humans.
Yeah.
Like, they want out.
They want out.
They're just trying to get out.
Yeah.
And besides, our target is not any of those demons. Our target is laying just ahead of us.
Mm-hmm. There stood Growlus, just off to the side. When he sees Seth, it says, his face broke into an eager, evil smile. In one hand, he held the Sands of Sanctity. The other hand gripped a heavy spear. You came looking for me after all, Growlus said. Boisterous voice penetrating the tumult. I should have known. You have collected quite a sword. Again, you astonish me, Seth Sorensen. Sadly, my final lesson will be that any blade is only as mighty as the wielder. Come, we have unfinished business, you and I.
So a few demons do end up besetting, the word is, the Sphinx and the 3 asteroids. And they're holding their own. But they all kind of ignore Seth. And he's kind of mad about that. He's like, you don't want to pay attention to me? Fine.
I'm not good enough to kidnap.
And is number 2 Avatar reference there? Number 2 Sokka reference. He's just so quotable. But yeah.
And he's like, I guess they're leaving me to Growlus. So he's like, I will oblige.
So he walks up to Growlus and he just draws his sword. He's like, let's do this.
And Growlus,
actually, no, I lied, no.
He talks first.
Yeah, he does not draw a sword because his instinct tells him not to draw it. Growlus is seeming to assume that Seth is an unworthy wielder of Basilis. And he's like, I'm not gonna have you change your mind.
I'm not showing my hand yet.
I'm gonna wait until I get in close and I can go shank.
Mm-hmm. And Growlus is like, oh, I sense your confidence in your sword, but Basilis is a very powerful weapon, but I don't think you're worthy enough to use it. And by the way, it's not even gonna matter. Your cause is hopeless. So he's like, draw and we'll see, but I don't believe you got the guts to beat me.
So Growlus is in lunging distance now, and Seth is starting to feel a little concerned, a little terrified, but he just sets his jaw. He says, nope, I'm not running. You have the Sands of Sanctity, and I'm taking it back. Mm-hmm. So Seth approaches, Growlus is moving forward. They're within striking distance. Like, Seth knows that if Growlus lunges, he could be toast. And he's getting a little nervous, but eventually he just sets his jaw and he's like, nope, my allies are occupied. It's just me. I gotta take care of business. And the line he says is just, like, right before drawing Basilis, you can just, oh, it's so good. Take it away.
He says, I healed you and you killed my friend. And Growlus says, don't stop there. By healing me, you essentially opened Zizix.
Yeah, well, I'm here to unheal you. Seth pulled out Basilis, the blade sang in his hand, glaring with a scarlet intensity he had not yet seen. Basically, Seth is pissed.
Yeah.
The sparks of defiance inside of Seth flamed into fury and confidence.
Oh,
as a boy!
That's so awesome.
And immediately Growlus is like, hang on.
He's like, wait.
What? No. And he actually glares at Nagi Luna and he's just like, you said the sword didn't like him. He couldn't use it. What were you saying? What are you doing? And Nagi's just like, haha, teach you to mess with me. Have fun.
Yeah. So basically, Nagi Luna had lied to Growlus, saying that the sword Basilis had not taken to Seth, as well as it actually had, that she knew that it had, so that Growlus would have more confidence in beating Seth. And as soon as Seth draws the weapon, Growlus knows that she was lying. And she did it because she was like, you're not in charge of me, basically. That'll show you.
Like, they're both still fighting over who gets to be lauded as the freer of demon kind.
Yeah.
Like, she wants to be in charge, he wants to be in charge, and so this is her way of trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. She's like, let him fall, and then I can take out Seth, and we're all happy.
Mm-hmm. Also, I just have to say, Seth's line of, yeah, well, I'm here to unheal you, is so, like...
So Seth.
So 13-year-old boy of him, like, unheal you. I'm here to unheal you.
Can't you uncrush things? No, uncrush is stupid. You asked me to unpunch something. What you do? Incredibles 2 reference there.
Oh, okay.
Like, the pressure guy. He crushes the pipes, and Mr. Incredible is just like, can you, like, fix it? Can you uncrush? And he's like, what? I've never been asked to do that before. That's stupid. Like, I couldn't ask you to unpunch something.
It's kind of the opposite, but it makes you think of that part of Wreck-It Ralph where Fix-It Felix is trying to get out, and he's like, why do I fix everything I touch?
I'm gonna wreck it. Ah! No, you're totally right. I love it.
So yeah, Growlithe and Seth start fighting. And Seth's Vasilis is like aflame with his power. And it's
fury.
Awesome.
Yeah. And the fight ends with them leaping at each other simultaneously. Nagi Luna is low-key even, like,
Growlithe She's egging Seth on. She's egging Seth on.
Because Growlithe goes, curse you for this hag. You'll pay. If I fall, I'll summon a curse that will kill him.
Yeah, Nagi Luna's like,
she just cuts him off, and she's like, just kill him, boy. Like, let's just shut him up, please.
Yeah.
And so they actually lunge at the same time. Vasilis slices through Growlithe's fur breastplate without slowing at all, just absolutely coating Growlithe with flames almost immediately. Kind of reminiscent of what would happen to the Eternals when they were hit with a Phoenix arrow.
Yeah. And as Seth is cutting into him, Growlithe rakes his claws down his sides, and his teeth clamp shut on Seth's shoulder.
So, what's that? It's like simultaneous destruction?
Mutual
destruction.
Mutual destruction.
That's it. So, but Growlithe definitely gets the worst of the deal.
Yeah. Seth falls back on his side, Vasilis in his hand.
And is being crushed by the
crushed by the burning Growlithe. But he is also feeling the wounds in his side and on his chest, on his shoulder, because Growlithe is basically, his claws somehow got poison.
Of course they do. Because of course they do.
Because he's a demon. Because of course his claws had poison on them.
But the sad thing too is, like, Seth's like, well, at least I'm not dying alone. I get to take this thing with me. Coulter would be proud. That's a direct quote. He even says that. Coulter would be proud.
Yes, he would.
And so, but thankfully, before he can get cooked by the burning flesh, the Sphinx and Parador both peel Growlithe off of him so that they can free Seth.
Yeah.
And so
the Sphinx is like, you can really use that sword.
I could just, like, Sphinx is honestly giving some, like, Hondo vibes right now. Like, man, I would love to train this kid just a little bit. I'm seeing it. Like, he's like, man, the young Shadow Charmer, what could I do with this kid? And the answer is, you can do nothing. Stay away. Good call. All right.
And Seth is like, did you get the Sands of Sanctity after all of that? And he says...
He's also dying from poison. Like, he could probably use those things right now.
He's literally like, so, did you get them? And the Sphinx says, as soon as Growlithe fell, Nagi Luna snatched up the Sands of Sanctity, and she's over there surrounded by a little group of demons protecting her, basically.
Speedy little hag.
Yeah, seriously.
So, just like, interesting, there's kind of a little parallel here. Like, Seth was having his beef with Growlithe. At the same time now, the Sphinx is having a little bit of beef with Nagi Luna.
That's true. Wait, I like that.
Like, the Sphinx demands, return the artifacts. And Nagi Luna is just cackling like, I am no longer your prisoner. I am the liberator of demonkind.
Yeah, you can't tell me what to do.
Nuh-uh. You never expect an immortal demon to sound so much like a 2-year-old. So the problem is, though, like, she's so small and hunched over, she can escape really quickly. So even as Seth and the others, they try to search forward, trying to get to her, so many demons are now blocking the way, preventing them from getting to her. And Seth is, like, he's going hard.
Dude.
Like, he's just describing him cutting through the... It's describing Seth as cutting through the crowd of demons, like...
With a single swipe.
With a single swipe. Sometimes cleaving 2 or 3 in one stroke. The blade blazing like the hottest coals in a forge. Really love the imagery here.
It even says the demons gave way before them, particularly cowering from the fiery blade that effortlessly carved through armor and shield, shell and scales, setting ablaze all who came near.
I kind of forgot that Seth did not just kill Growlithe. And
He's
going hard right now.
I hope someone's keeping count of how many, because he's going to want to know later.
For sure.
He's going to want to know his body count of how many demons he killed.
Like, he's just turning around. Did anybody see that?
Did anybody see that?
Except for you. Trigger Dragon reference.
Yeah, we're on one today.
We are on it. Alright, so...
And Nagi Luna is, like, getting away, like, running away, and there are, like, other demons trying to, like, crowd around her. And here comes son number 2 of Gorgrog. Eldest son, yes. Orogoro.
And interestingly enough, now also with antlers, but more like a moose. So now the Sphinx is like, crap, if that guy gets involved, he can protect Nagi Luna and we got no shot. And Seth is just like, bet.
Yeah.
It's the moment from Star Wars Rebels. Like, we're gonna have to do something drastic. Alright, I'll do it. Zeb, don't! Jumps off the entire cliff and tackles an assassin. He's crazy! Well, it was your idea. That's literally what happens here.
Yeah.
Because Seth hears that they can't let Nagi Luna get to Orogoro, and he's like,
They
okay.
are running out of time.
And he just chucks Basilisk like a throwing knife. He makes a split-second decision.
He's like, we need these artifacts, or Bracken's plan will fail. And so, that's what convinces him.
And he just hucks it. And it even says, the sword leapt from his hand with more force than the throw warranted, as if determined to reach the target, shedding flames and sparks as it spun through the air. The blade pierced the wizened demon through the back, and flames engulfed her shriveled form. And I say good riddance.
Yeah. It's so interesting to, like, read about Basilisk, because it, like... almost has a mind of its own.
For sure, I agree.
It, like, knows the intentions of its wielder, and it, like, wants... Because I think part of it is because it connected so well with Seth. Mm-hmm. It, like, the wand chooses the wizard, kind of, but, like, this sword is, like, wanting to do the bidding of its master.
Mm-hmm. It gives the vibes of almost a less sentient, more benevolent Nightblood. For those of you who understand, like, it gives those vibes. Like,
yeah.
Instead of leaking smoke, it's leaking flames and sparks, but, like, it has its own volition, sort of. Like, Seth already described it as almost guiding his hands. He feels like more like they're partners working together rather than a boy swinging a sword.
Yeah. And even though Seth did just succeed in killing Nagi Luna, because he was just poisoned a few moments ago.
And not to mention, like, gored across the side, and his shoulder got chomped by an ROUS. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. You can't tell me.
Rodents of unusual size.
I don't think they exist. That's literally what happened. He got chomped by an ROUS. That's what happened to his shoulder.
He's more of a... Does he have ram horns, Growlithe? Anyway.
Alright.
Okay. Because Seth just threw Basilisk across the room, he lost all the energy that was keeping him up because he was just poisoned by Growlithe just a few moments ago. And so he collapses to the ground. Without Basilisk, all vitality fled. The agony of his wounds reached a new intensity, as if acid had been poured into his injuries. Dimly, Seth was aware of Peridor, Targaron, and Sylvestris springing into the air. And so the Astrids are going after the artifacts.
Because now it's just a waiting game, so you can get to them. It's a race to the artifacts, who can get to them first.
Yeah.
And eventually, Peridor is the only one who's stuck by Seth, and he just grabs
Peridor
Seth.
went and got the sword.
Yeah, he grabbed Basilisk and put it back into Seth's hand, and allowing him to kind of get some of the awareness and vitality back. But even then, at this point, like, the poison has advanced so far, he's lost so much of his strength, Basilisk can't do much more than just keep him awake.
Yeah, and Seth mumbles the artifacts, sitting up, and then Peridor says, the Sphinx and Targaron got them. They were being swarmed, so they teleported away with them. Sylvestris has fallen. And then Peridor...
Rip to Sylvestris.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a real one. We don't even need to make references. We are our own references.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Parador picks up Seth and flies him out through the crack in the dome.
Because the guy knows, like, yes, you have Vasilis, but he even says out loud, like, it strengthens you, but it doesn't heal you. Like, you're poisoned, you are bleeding, you are dying, we gotta get you to a unicorn.
And he's like, okay, keep talking to me, do not fall asleep. And
Stay awake.
Seth is, like, asking questions, and Parador's asking him questions, and so Seth is like, so who got the artifacts? And he says that Sylvestris got to the artifacts, and as he passed them to Targaron as he fell. Targaron brought them to the Sphinx. They tried to get to you, but too many demons were attacking. Our mission succeeded. Hopefully, this will restore some of our honor.
And let's be clear, Parador is talking to Seth, telling him the story as he is employing dizzying acrobatics to keep away from enemies, because some of the demons fly, just a quick reminder.
And they probably have arrows too. Spears.
Exactly. Yeah. And so he's having to dodge all this, but he's just calmly like, and so then this guy died, but then we also killed that guy, which was really cool. Also, don't fall asleep, stay awake, dodge. Like, I'm imagining some no-look dodges, I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, okay.
But so the
important part
is
that he says, hopefully this will help restore some of our honor. And Seth is like, wait, your honor? Of course, this is like half dead Seth trying to be like,
trying to latch on to anything that can keep him awake.
Yeah. And Parador says, Targaron, Sylvestris, and I rebelled against the Fairy Queen after she transformed us into weaklings and banished us. Her consort had fallen to Gorgrog, and yes, as a body, the Knights of the Dawn had failed. But some of us found her punishment excessive. No betrayal was committed, certain knights relaxed their vigilance, and Gorgrog got to our king in a surprise attack. Some of us felt that she was assigning the blame deserved by some to all. To our everlasting shame, 6 of us renounced her. 3 of us only recently returned, answering the call. We have much to prove. Bracken generously offered us this opportunity. So, the 3 Astrids were the 3 that returned. Mm-hmm. Which is very cool. Bracken generously offered us an opportunity, and how we were saying, like, we feel like Bracken probably knows all of the Astrids. Mm-hmm. I feel like he could read their minds. He knows that they have a lot to prove, but also they have the desire to prove themselves. And so he trusted them to do what was necessary. And so honestly, it was a good choice because they were willing to go as far as possible, like give it all to reclaim their honor. Indeed.
We also get some extra info about what really happened to the Fairy King. Yes. And, like, why, like, you can kind of understand why some of the Astrids would have felt unjustly punished for that, where, like, they didn't betray the Fairy King as a body, they didn't, like, purposely allow him to be killed, they messed up. Mm-hmm. And only a few of them were directly responsible. It's punishing the many for the deeds of a few, and that is kind of messed up, but people do crazy, weird things when they're grieving. They become irrational, so I guess that holds true for immortal unicorns as well.
I feel like it especially holds true for immortals who don't change. Mm. And because she's been feeling these feelings for a very long time, you know, it's only taken... Honestly, I feel like the influence of mortals to really change the Fairy Queen's perception, and also the fact that, you know, a crisis is happening, the demon prison is opening. We kind of need some warriors here. So,
and it was partially Kendra's persistence in asking, saying, "Shouldn't we forgive?"
Which is probably why Bracken was like, "I need your help to come ask this, please."
Like, yeah, because don't you think maybe Bracken and his sisters maybe tried...
Oh, they've probably been trying forever.
...to, like, soften the Fairy Queen's heart towards the Astrids, but it was the outside influence of a mortal to be like, hey, so maybe we should try to forgive? Like, I know it's a novel concept, but aren't you guys supposed to be the really good something guys?
You guys do, but... And Seth, after Parador explains all this, he says, you did well, thanks. And Parador's like, well, I'm not the one who threw the sword and killed 2 of the demons, you know? He's like, I've never seen a Seth, I've never seen a sword thrown with such ability. For that matter, who would dare to throw such a sword? I'm still in disbelief.
It's always nice to see, like, the immortal warriors be stunned and impressed by our mortal heroes and heroines.
Yeah, I hope Seth remembers this so he can be like, he thought that was pretty cool later.
Yeah, if anything that sticks in this conversation, that was probably it.
Yeah.
So, and I love Seth's next priorities. He looks down and he sees that the shrine is being beset heavily by enemies. He's like, Are we doing okay? Like, are we losing or are we doing all right? And Parador's like, I mean, we've got a little bit of time, but without much help, we're done.
The shrine will fall. Yeah.
And then Seth immediately afterward asks for Kendra. He's like, how is she? And Parador's just like, we'll find her. And at the same time, we'll get you a unicorn, because you're dying, buddy.
He is on death's doorstep. And that is the end of this chapter.
Now to chapter 28.
Move on to the Demon King and Kendra's POV.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we had Seth being cool, but now we gotta give Kendra her 2 cents. Let Kendra
It's
give her
Kendra's time to shine.
Yes, indeed.
Heck yeah.
So, Kendra is, of course, waiting in the wings anxiously because she just watched her brother go off in a task force
dangerous
that
mission.
is very, very dangerous.
Yeah, she's a little mad at Bracken for letting him do that, but she's also like,
gotta let the boys be boys.
We gotta do what we have to do in these
trust
hard
the commander.
situations. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, if he lives, that's awesome, but honestly, we're probably at all about even with our probabilities of leaving this day alive.
Mm-hmm. She's kind of watching the battle, and she sees, some Ashrids had led Brogo away, like we're talking about, spreading the fight, and, she's watching Gorgrog, and Bracken had departed to join the fight, along with Vanessa, Warren, and several Astridge.
Bracken is being not overprotective, actually, probably valid amount of protection.
But definitely feeling protective of her.
Very protective, but I don't think we're quite at the overprotective level.
Yeah.
But he's saying, stay near the shrine until the obvious moment, and then to flee. He didn't exactly explain what would make the moment obvious, but he seemed to imply that she would understand what he meant.
Kendra is by Trask and Hugo, and there are demons that are close to breaking through at the shrine.
Mm-hmm. And notably, Trask is stayed behind because, as we remember in the next exchange between Newell and Doran, they're like, man, we wish we had some decent swords. And Trask is like, I know the feeling. Because he had to give his sword to the Sphinx.
He's like, I missed my sword already.
And the other one is with with Vanessa. So he's probably feeling a little antsy, like, I want to get in there.
Yeah, he wants to join the fight.
He's a lieutenant of the Knights of the Dawn.
Yeah.
He didn't get there by standing back and directing foes. No, he knows how to get his hands dirty.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
but he can't.
we have to talk about this little exchange between Newell and Doran.
Of course.
At least we each have a guardian Astrid, Newell said optimistically.
I think my Astrid could take yours, Doran muttered to Newell.
Keep dreaming, Newell chuckled. Mine looks like he could break yours in half with his bare hands.
He'd have to catch him first, Doran countered. Mine looks quick and wiry.
Neither of us should get too cocky, Newell replied. I'll wager Kendra has the best ones.
No doubt, Doran huffed. She has connections. Kendra looks back and she's like, okay, you're not wrong.
Yeah, she's like, the surly warriors, heavily armed, Kraylang and Rostimus, looked impatient to join the combat. By the appearance of battle, they and the other Astrid bodyguards would not have to wait long.
Mm-hmm. The horde is still just pressing forward, trying to force back the lines of fairies and Astrids.
And there's a demon that... It says, a demon with bulky claws like lobster rammed through the defenders. It gets through, and some demons follow it, and Hugo goes to take care of it.
And so it's just whenever a hole gets punctured in the shield wall, the reserves kind of have to just come in and fill in the blanks. Mm-hmm. But even then,
there are defenders that are falling.
Yeah, defenders are falling. Astrids, fairies, they're going down, and they have to just try to keep everything together. Hugo's just trying to protect Kendra, telling her to get back. And to her credit, she obeys. She knows how to not get in the way when she's out of her depth.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the Sphinx and Targaron appear next to her. And the Sphinx, he immediately tosses his blade to Trask, and Trask goes right into battle.
Which, I mean, if we're talking about people who know Trask's abilities, as the former captain of the Knights of the Dawn, the Sphinx probably has a very good idea of what Trask is capable of.
That's true. He's like, here you go.
Like, I know you know how to use this.
Take care of him.
Go.
Let's go.
And so, it must be weird for Trask to, like, still kind of be, like... No, I guess he doesn't really take orders, but, like, in that way, he was, like,
yeah, it is kind of interesting to see think about the history between Trask and the Sphinx.
Because Trask knew that the Sphinx was the captain.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So.
Because he was a lieutenant. Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Yeah,
that'd be something interesting to talk about later.
But yeah, so Kendra is just, like, she runs forward because as Targaron flies away with the Sands of Sanctity, the Oculus, and the Translocator, Kendra's just like, what is happening? Where is my brother?
Where is Seth? And
I mean, you can't blame her. Like, she's got to feel, like, very out of the loop because most of the orders that are happening telepathically.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't know anything about fallback positions, strategies, nothing, because she doesn't have Bracken's voice in her head like most of the other forces do. She's like, what's going on?
And also, the Sphinx gave the translocator back to the Astrids and isn't going back for Seth. And she's like, okay, well, where's Seth? Hello?
You left with my brother. You came back without him. What happened?
Exactly. And the Sphinx is like, he just says injured. Not much to go off of there, bro.
I mean, at least that implies living.
Yeah, that's true. But he does say he was heroic. Your brother made all the difference. He single-handedly slew Growlithe and Nagi Luna. Parador is flying him back here.
So Kendra's like, okay, that's great, but why did you have to leave them behind? Mm-hmm. And so Rostimus lands back beside Kendra. He's like, we may have to get out of here. Like, the fairies and Astrids are making a final stand in front of the shrine, but the demons are only fighting harder, and it's about to fall.
And Kendra's like, well, what about the shrine? We can't let the demons get here. And Rostimus is like, my job is to protect you. He's like, if I don't, Bracken will kill me.
Newell and Doran, though, are like, well, we weren't given that detail. Hey, got some fun weapons you can lend us?
And Rostimus is like, I guess so. Here are some knives. Have at it.
And the most iconic battle cries of all. Newell charges forward. For endless television!
Frito-Lay! Doran yelled, waving his knife overhead.
Iconic.
The best.
So...
I need a shirt with, like, the centaurs. The centaurs! Ah! I need a shirt with the satyrs with, like, little bubbles over their heads and, like, shouting, Endless television! Frito-Lay!
That was fun. Alright, for endless television and Frito-Lay.
Yes, indeed.
Alright, so...
Behind her, Kendra hears some splashes, which indicates more creatures are coming from the Fairy Queen shrine behind her.
Which is very needed, because, again, like, the defenses are about to shatter.
Yeah, so reinforcements.
So she turns around, she sees some more warrior fairies emerging, as well as a number of unicorns in unicorn form. So they're all coming out in unicorn form. Some of them are turning to human shape and then sprinting forward to join the fray.
With their horns now as swords.
Mm-hmm. Whereas some of the others are turning and fleeing.
Mm-hmm.
So it is helpful, though. The reinforcements are helping to now change the tide again. They're able to
push back the
demons enough. And so dryads are also coming out.
Yeah, Kendra says the tallest dryads she had ever beheld, armed with bows and spears and halberds, a group of Lamassu.
Which, if we recall correctly, we learned about at the beginning or midway through this book?
Midway, yeah. It was like the guard of the secret
the bull
door.
with the face of a man.
Yeah. A fiery flock of phoenixes. Try to say that 5 times fast.
Fiery flock of phoenixes. Fiery flock of phoenixes. Fiery flock
of
Nope, I got 2.
Baboons.
There's our Harry Potter reference.
Yep. Dripping naiads, clutching daggers.
Interesting. They're
guess
leaving a pond, but I guess if
change? Yeah.
In this case, I'm assuming that it works. Probably they have, like, the blessing of the fairy queen.
Yeah, maybe living in the fairy realm gives them... They're not, like, falling into mortality.
Maybe there has to be a certain, like...
Intent or something.
Yes, that is the word I was looking for. I was going to say, like, volition. They have to leave it and intend to fall.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks for fairies. Like, they don't have to intend to fall. They are trapped into it. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, whatever.
As each new wave of newcomers joined the fight, the demons surrendered more ground. Countless small fairies began to fountain up from the pool. Some bore weapons and flew to help. Imagine those are very tiny weapons. You could poke them in the eye or something, maybe. I don't know.
Have you watched Night at the Museum 2?
Yes.
The Battle of the Smithsonian?
Yes.
The miniatures... They, like, in the final battle, the miniatures have all their little swords, and they storm out into the field, and, like, there's this huge slow-motion scene where, like, they're cutting the heels of the shoes.
Oh, yes!
They're stabbing into the
I
soles,
remember that.
And, like...
It's all dramatic.
It's all dramatic, and then it pans out, and it's just like, ow, ow, ow,
It's just like, ow, I'm being poked!
It's like stepping on a hill of fire ants.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But, and not just, though, are creatures coming to help, there are also, like... brownies, elves, stags with golden antlers, other strange beasts that are exiting the pond and just booking it.
Running. Everything is fleeing.
It is just a mass exodus.
Yeah.
And so...
And then...
But Kendra's attention is now distracted by a massive, ear-splitting roar, drawing her attention away.
And it is Gorgrog.
Astrid... Sorry,
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you.
Okay.
I need a minute.
Astrids and Phoenixes had flown out to confront him, and many of the tall dryads and Lamasu were bullying their way through the demon army to reach him. The Astrids and others had formed a ring around the Demon King, holding his allies back while a small number of them engaged him in combat. Although the combat was not nearby, the shrine occupied higher ground, and Kendra could see Bracken leading the attack. Warren and Vanessa fought alongside him.
We love a good power couple!
Yeah. It does not surprise me that Warren and Vanessa are just right there with him.
Mm-hmm. However, though, this is not just a small demon. This is the Demon King.
Yeah.
And he's just slashing asteroids and fairies out of the sky with his sword.
And stomping and causing, general...
Bloodshed.
Amongst
there's the word carnage.
Carnage. Yes, it's a good word.
And then a stranger steps up beside Kendra, and she's like...
But not so much of a stranger.
Well, yeah, I guess. Tall and graceful, wreathed in light, the woman shone with ethereal beauty. Kendra immediately recognized her from a vision she had experienced while using the Oculus. Rostimus dropped to one knee, head bowed. Your Majesty.
Rise, the Fairy Queen said, her voice rich and serene amid the cacophony of battle. It's you, Kendra exclaimed, entranced by her presence. It's really you. Why did you come out? Worry filled her voice. The advance of the wave of reinforcements had begun to slow. And the Fairy Queen is like, I am acting in accordance with our plan. Her eyes regarded the fight with Gorgrog. But I may have to deviate. Brave and capable as my son may be, Gorgrog is too much for him. I will not stand aside and lose my son as I lost my husband.
Kendra's like, so why are we even touching that? Why don't we just let that be its own problem?
Yeah, why are we fighting Gorgrog?
Stay 39.5 feet away.
And the Fairy Queen explains that for their plan to work, they have to at least injure the Demon King to even have a chance. And then she's like, Kendra, when my people retreat, go with them. The shrine will shortly be overrun. And then Rostimus is like, I will see her to safety. And the Fairy Queen nods, and she orders a fairy warrior to oversee the retreat if she's unable.
Really planning for success here, ma'am.
Yeah, she's about to join the battle. The Fairy Queen drew a shining sword and took to the sky, flying without wings. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
She doesn't even need wings. She can just fly.
I mean, you forget that she's a unicorn, not a...
Yeah,
not
exactly.
a fairy.
Yeah. but she's also the Fairy Queen, so she's got some extra powers up her sleeve.
So Gorgrog, seeing her coming, is like, well, I can deal with this pest now. He literally just kicks Bracken away and turns to deal with her.
The Fairy Queen, yeah.
They clash, and it's honestly kind of comedic. We even get a wonderful picture to kind of demonstrate the scale. The Fairy Queen, who is depicted to be around like human size, is like flying up at the Demon King at Gorgrog. She's probably about the size of his head, without the antlers.
So he is huge.
Probably minimum 60 feet.
I have no idea.
If I had to guess. But
like 50,
Kendra now has to turn away from the battle of the century to now pay attention to Parador, who is landing with Seth in her arms. His arms. And she's like, oh crap, you're dying.
Yeah. She says, well, she's thinking, her brother was a mess. His face pale, his shirt tattered, his shoulder and sides drenched in blood. Vassilis glowed dimly in his hand. And Parador yells, I need a unicorn. And then Seth is like, hey, Kendra, I got Brawless, I got the artifacts.
He says dying. He says we on that second one. Give him the credit of the humility. He gives credit where credit is due.
That's fair. And then a handsome warrior came up.
Kendra got a thing for unicorns.
I mean, they're all attractive, so. Mm-hmm. A handsome warrior came up and knelt beside them, touching the tip of his sword to Seth's forehead. Then he placed a palm against his chest. Some color returned to Seth's face.
If we think about that, like, if it was in horse form, he would be lowering his horn to touch Seth's forehead, and like maybe placing his hoof on his chest. I don't know, I just like think of it as that way, because like most like mythologies, when they depict like a unicorn purifying something, it dips its horn into like the pond. Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense that touches him with the sword. Mm-hmm.
So. I'm looking at the picture of Gorgrog and the Fairy Queen. I wouldn't say like 50 feet, maybe like 30 to 40.
Yeah, 30 feet with tall. The antlers.
I don't know. Anyway, the unicorn says that he almost died, but he's purged the venom. However, he's going to need the Sands of Sanctity to be completely restored.
And Kendra's like, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for stopping him from dying right here.
So Parador is getting ready to carry Seth off, and Kendra is just standing here feeling very, very useless because she's watching. The Fairy Queen is starting to lose ground. She's just trying to survive now. Bracken takes a blow across the chest and nearly gets sent flying with a bleeding wound.
Literally watching her greatest allies be almost cut to pieces by the Demon King, and she's like, we're basically seconds away from like losing.
And this is when she has her ultimate Kendra moment. Because I feel like Kendra shines the most when she is backed into a corner and she has to just find a way to make something work. We see it in book 1. She's lost all of her friends, her family, her allies. She is alone, and her last Hail Mary, last-ditch attempt is, let's just go to the Fairy Queen's Island and see what we can do. And she pulls it off. That's true. Pretty much every single time she's put in one of these situations, she manages to pull it off because she just has, like, that's how her brain kind of works. It seizes on the desperation and just comes up with something. And in this case, this is my favorite line from this entire series, honestly. She looks around, she's like, I have no way to help, I have nothing to do, like, what
the Fairy Queen and Bracken are about to die!
If only there was something she could do! And then her eyes fall on Vassilis. The weapon held her gaze, and the sounds of battle receded. She had a peculiar feeling that the weapon was calling to her. She made up her mind in an instant. Seth, can I borrow your sword? Yes!
It's so good. Vassilis, he asked?
Bracken and the Fairy Queen are about to die, she urged.
It may not work the same for you as for me, Seth warned, sweat beading on his forehead. But sure, take it. I'm in no shape to use it.
Kendra glanced at Parador. Get my brother to the Sands of Sanctity. I gotta go take care of business. Mm-hmm. Seth held out Vassilis, and Kendra accepted the weapon. The dim blade flashed to life, shedding a brilliant white radiance. Kendra immediately felt galvanized, her senses sharpened, as if her whole life had been spent half asleep, and only now had she truly awakened.
Oof.
As blinding light beamed from her sword, the demons nearest to the shrine faltered, turning their heads away and trying to shield their eyes. Asteroids, dryads, unicorns, and fairies, once again, drove them back. It's honestly like she's a battery that just got hooked up to a floodlight.
This moment is so awesome. And I want to go back to what you were saying just before we read this quote of that Kendra works best when she's backed into a corner. But not only that, when she's backed into a corner and her friends and family are in danger.
Amen.
And something that you said about how you mentioned, like, who does she always go to when she needs help? The Fairy Queen. But in this moment, who needs her help? The Fairy Queen.
And also her son.
And her son. I mean, yeah. But, like, I love that, like, flip of, like, every time she needed help, she tried to go to the Fairy Queen. In the first book with Bahamut and, what's her face? Oh my gosh. Muriel. Mm-hmm. The second book, she tries to get help from the Fairy Queen again, but is kind of blocked from it. In the third book, she gets help from the Fairy Queen to end the Shadow Plague. In the fourth book, she goes to the Fairy Queen.
When all of her friends have been captured by Thronus and it's just her, she's like, well, gotta go talk to the Fairy Queen. Got nothing else to do.
And then in the fifth book, right after they lose Seth, but get the translocator, and she goes to the Fairy Queen. Every time she turns to the Fairy Queen, but now she's the one that has to go help them.
Like
I love that.
Yeah, she's always been like the support, the backup, the like.
She's the one who gets the help, but not necessarily finishes the job.
Thank you. That is exactly what I was trying to say, but you said it perfectly. But now she's like, well, I guess now I get to be the help. And so she just picks up this blade, and even just her holding the sword is enough to galvanize her troops and push back the enemy.
She, like, literally kind of becomes the embodiment of light. Mm-hmm. Holding Vasilis.
And it's so good.
And I love how Vasilis works so well for both Kendra and Seth. And connects to both of them.
They're the sandwich.
They're yin and yang. Another way to put it. Mm-hmm. I just like the way that it's described. It's like, it feels as if she'd spent her whole life half asleep. Mm-hmm. And now she feels awakened, galvanized, ready to face down the danger.
Honestly, how does she ever give Vasilis up? That's the crazy thing.
Because she's worthy of it.
Amen. Love that. Alright, but Kendra was focused beyond the nearby demons at the contest between the Fairy Queen and the Demon King. All her most desperate hopes and desires, to see her parents again, to rescue her grandparents, to protect her friends, to save the world from this demonic invasion, converged on the antlered form of Gorgrog. He was trying to kill Bracken and the Fairy Queen. He was the leader of the demons. He embodied the threat they had to overcome.
I love how Vasilis is, like, taking all of her emotions and thoughts and focusing them on her target, basically.
You want something to do? Let's get him.
Let's get him. Let's get him, boys.
Oh, yes. Vasilis towed her forward with such violence that her feet hardly touched the ground. She skipped ahead in huge bounds, much faster than any mortal could possibly run. Demons parted before the intense fervor of her blade, and as Gorgrog drew near, rather than fear, she felt elation. All the energy others claimed to perceive inside of her seemed to have suddenly surfaced. She felt no hesitation, no worry, only an overwhelming euphoria at finally being able to help the people she loved.
Yes, Kendra!
Just reading that, you know Gorgrog got no shot.
Like, oh, these last few paragraphs are so amazing. Because, like we've been talking about, Kendra, she always tries her best. And she usually is the one that instigates saving the day.
She always comes in clutch.
But she can finally do it herself. Directly. Mm-hmm. And that is so satisfying for her character, for the story, everything.
Mm-hmm. She's no longer the battery. She is the whole
She's the blade.
Tank. She's the tank. I like that. I like Blade again. Also, okay, so she finally gets to the fairy queen and the demon king. Vassal is still absolutely blazing like a sun, which is impressive considering the sun is actually rising behind her. So it's a very bright morning.
Yeah. It says the demon stood many times taller than Kendra, but she jumped before reaching him, gliding up so that she was almost level with his head as their swords clashed explosively. The impact sent Gorgrog staggering backwards amid a coruscating shower of sparks.
Love that word.
Yeah, that's why I hesitated. I was like, what is that word?
That was a $10 word right there.
Yeah. A white-edged notch in his monstrous sword. It cut a notch in his sword.
Effortlessly.
That's crazy.
She lands lightly. He's stumbling back. She's like, yeah, fear me.
Vassal is humming in her hand. I just love the light and the energy and the vitality that, like, Vassilis has. Like, it's so interesting. And then Kendra notices that behind the Demon King, the Fairy Queen is chopping at one of the black chains attached to his belt, which is attached to a dehydrated corpse. And that's just kind of like an offhanded, like, noticing before she goes back to fighting the Demon King.
Foreshadowing!
Exactly.
But the Demon King, he's not caring about the Fairy Queen. He's not caring about Bracken. He doesn't give a crap about anything except for Kendra. He is wholly focused on her. But Kendra is just grinning and just standing her ground and as he charges her.
And I do like, sorry, it says that the surrounding demons cowered back. So only Gorgrog has the guts to try and fight her.
Seth, could you not have given Kendra the sword a little bit sooner?
Well, no one thought about it, so...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Bracken was too busy. Everybody was too busy trying to protect her. They didn't realize, maybe we should give the absolute, like, power pack the sword that runs on light.
Yeah.
So Kendra, she just starts playing with the Demon King. He swings at her, she just steps aside and lets it cut past her. The blade plunges deep into the ground, and she just springs forward and cuts off the Demon King's leg like it's nothing.
With, like, one slice.
I love the metaphor. Her blade sliced through fur and flesh like light through shadow.
Oh, that's so good.
Like, even, like, I feel like that singular phrase is a really good metaphor for this entire fight. Like, when it comes down to it, like, a single flashlight just cuts through shadow like it's nothing. It will not be impeded. It will not be slowed. It's just there.
Basically fulfilling what Bracken said in his speech, that darkness cannot, like, abide light. Mm-hmm.
No night can stand the light of dawn.
Yes.
She is the light of dawn.
The light of dawn as a night of the dawn.
Mm-hmm. And now, like, Gorgrog's just collapsing already because he's on fire now.
Engulfed in flames.
Like, first Graulus and Naughty Luna went up in, like, scarlet flames of Seth's power, but her flames are pure white and just, I can imagine, scalding, burning hot. It's like
almost purifying the darkness.
Yeah, it's like Azula's flame versus Zuko's flame.
Yeah.
Both powerful, but different.
Very different. And it says, Kendra leapt forward, and Vassilis glared like lightning as she slashed with a fatal stroke. She took him down in, like...
2 hits.
3 moves, yeah.
She dodged, slashed, sliced. Done.
Dang. She made quick work of him.
So good.
But, I mean, the fire helped, but...
Yeah, but...
Quite a lot, but, yeah.
I just love afterwards. Insane. She's just standing there, and the demon horde is just...
Everyone is
still
in shock. No one ever thought that anyone would kill Gorgrog or even injure him, really. And this mortal girl just did it in front of all of them.
The Fairy Queen comes up to Kendra and she's like, great job, let's go.
Yeah.
Because now that the Demon King has fallen, his eldest son, Orogoro, is now coming up trying to claim the crown from his father's corpse.
Yeah. because now, as the eldest son, he is taking on the mantle of the Demon King. And it says that as Orogoro came forward to get the crown, the captain of the Astrids, Gilgerol, landed behind him and with a mighty stroke of his longsword, slashed off one of his huge feet. And Orogoro wailed in pain.
Man, if only that guy had a flaming sword, boom, we would have number 2 down as well.
Yeah.
Fire is really not these demons' allies.
Yeah. The Fairy Queen flies away, the corpse still in her arms, and Kendra's Astrid bodyguards, Rostimus and Kralang, come and pick her up and fly her away. And they're, like, also in shock and also, like, well,
I also would
impressed.
like to mention, the Kralang says, well done, and then Rostimus says, we have orders to take you away, added respectfully, like,
yeah,
I'm sorry we have to do I'm sorry we have to do this, please don't kill us, but we have orders if you wouldn't mind coming with us.
Yeah, if it fits your fancy, you know.
Like, it's no longer that they're guarding a person,
a helpless human
that they were ordered to protect by Bracken. It's like, no, we're protecting the slayer of the Demon King. I think we're just accessories at this point.
She does not need our help, but fighting, but she doesn't have wings, so I guess we'll fly her.
We'll be your wings today, madame.
Yeah.
And Kendra's like, all right, yes, you may touch me.
So they pick her up and fly her away.
And she's like,
they're still kind of dodging attacks from demons.
Yeah. She even mentions, though, with the fall of the Demon King and with Bracken out of danger, her euphoria had abated. She's like, okay, it's like a mama bear coming off of her, like, killing spree. Like, okay, my cubs are out of danger.
The adrenaline is coming down.
The adrenaline's coming down. All right.
Did that really just happen?
Where did this blood come from?
And then, while they're in the air, she hears voices crying, dragons! Dragons are coming! Dragons from the west! So right after, she just killed the Demon King.
The beacons are lit!
Exactly! The Rohirrim has come in to finish the job.
Gondor calls for aid. Or the
will
Fairy
answer.
Queen calls for aid.
And the dragons will answer. Here comes Agid with a horde of 30 dragons with Celebrant and Raxtus.
At least 20, I believe, is the...
Yeah.
I don't know why, but in my brain, I always remember this being like 4 or 5. 20 sounds a lot more impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And if we are going to pull from Aragon, because I still think this is an absolute banger of a word, because, like, you know how there's, like, a murder of crows,
what's like a group of animals have a specific name.
There's always, like, a herd, a pack, things like that. In Aragon, the word for a group of dragons was a thunder. Because if you ever hear more than 20 dragons in flight, it truly sounds like the air is, like, cracking and thundering around you. And I would like to revive that. Agid comes in with his thunder of dragons to save the day. Well, to finish the job. Kendra struck the final blow, and Agid's just gonna keep harrying the dragons. Yeah, the demons.
Kendra watched for a long moment, wondering if the dragons might make the difference. She had just slain the Demon King, but the vast host of demons remained.
Rostimus is like, do you need healing?
And Kendra's like,
Your ladyship?
I think I'm okay.
She even pats herself
she is
down. Like,
unscathed.
I think we're good.
Which is crazy. And then she's like, do you know where my friends are? And they guide her over to Trask, Newell, and Doran. And she's like, do you know where Seth is? And then Doran points her in the right direction.
I'm glad you guys are okay. Where's my brother?
Where's my brother? Did he get the Sands of Sanctity? And she finds him seated next to Bracken. And they've both been healed by the Sands.
And Seth is just like, holy frick, that was awesome!
Yeah, he jumps up and, like, hugs her and is like, I was watching through the binoculars. He is so excited.
Which is really nice. He's just happy for her. Like, he'll get a little jealous later, but initially he's just like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Vasilis loves you. Let's go.
And I love how he's like, I think Vasilis may like you even more than me. And then he remembers, he says, after you took the sword, I remembered that Morrisant hinted that the sword might take to you. I couldn't believe you did it. So if we remember back when Seth got Vasilis from behind the totem wall, Morrisant, who was the head honcho wizard who created the demon prison, hinted, he saw in his mind that he had a sister Kendra who was very kind, and he thought that maybe the sword would take to her as well. And
it's like, that could be an interesting pairing.
Right. Yeah. He was right on the money.
Mm-hmm. And Bracken just comes up to her and he's like, I think I just fell in love with you.
Yeah. He says, none have ever seen a blade shine so brightly, Bracken said in her ear, making no attempt to hide his awe.
Just a side in there. When she turned to Bracken, they embraced desperately. Just want to throw in that adjective right there.
Yeah.
Desperately. Or adverb, whatever. Continue.
What you did was impossible. Not in our far-fetched fantasies did we hope to slay Gorgrog. And Kendra's like, so, what happens now? And Bracken just says,
I did good.
We pray our plan works. Whatever the plan still is, we don't really know yet. But we're about to find out.
Well, first we gotta have a bombshell get dropped, because behind Bracken and Seth, Kendra sees the Fairy Queen seated behind an older gentleman with a frail build. She held his hand and spoke softly to him, but he sat motionless, wearing a vacant expression. And Kendra's like, who dat?
Who is that with the Fairy Queen? And Bracken says, my father.
And everybody just like, wait, what?
We're like, because
that's
remember
how I was.
Yeah, no, it's so shocking that the Fairy King, who everyone believed dead.
As far as we've known, since he was first mentioned, I think at Wormroost in the last book. Like, Raxus first brought him up, like, oh yeah, the Astrids, they were cast out because of their failure to protect the Fairy King and he died. We've been going under that assumption for the past book and a half, and now we get this curveball.
Yeah, everyone does. Bracken says, none of us actually saw him die. We assumed he had been destroyed. As we fought Gorgrog, Mother sensed his presence, but she hardly recognized him. When Mother and I recovered him, at first we thought he had been changed into one of the undead. But then we realized he was cocooned in powerful demonic spells that kept him alive, conscious, and feeling, but on the brink of death. Gorgrog had been wearing him as a trophy, dragging him around Zizix for centuries. I can't imagine my father's sufferings. The Sands of Sanctity brought him back physically, though he has not aged well. There is no sign of his horns. He's catatonic.
Freaking sucks.
So he's alive physically, but mentally, he has a long way to go.
Well, let's just think about that. Like, thousands of years being kept alive, conscious, and feeling, but on the brink of death as he's being dragged around a demon prison as a trophy.
Yeah.
That is terrible.
It's horrible.
I almost because he was not the only corpse attached to the Demon King. A, I wonder who the other ones were.
Else, yeah.
And B, I'm like, maybe it was a nicer fate for them to also die in the fire that was consuming Gorgrog than to. I feel like at that
that's
point,
kind of the point of Gorgrog keeping them alive. It would be better for them if they had died, but in his horribleness,
yes,
his evil, he kept them barely alive.
It honestly makes me wonder, who else would have merited such a punishment?
I don't know.
Food for thought.
And Kendra's like, is there any way that he'll recover? And Bracken says, there's always hope. Unicorns are among the most skilled healers, and Father is resilient. It will just take time.
She swears he smiled when Gorgrog fell. And Kendra's like, well, happy to help.
And so the three of them watch as the dragons engage with the demons. And the dragons are attacking without reservation, with lightning and flame and acid and
everything.
All of their power.
We get our first look at the Dragon King, Celebrant, who is flying through, scales gleaming like platinum. He looked like everything Raxus had described. Enormous, agile, powerful. Whenever his teeth or claws struck, demons plunged from the sky. Okay, this is where I got the trio or a couple of dragons. A trio of dragons skimmed low across the mass of earthbound demons, drenching them with fire. From within the midst of the demons, the gigantic Brogo threw his morning star, knocking one of the dragons from the sky. Celebrant and 3 other dragons,
smallest of them, which was Raxus,
swooped to the rescue. Yeah, that's where I got that. I thought that there were 5.
Oh, okay.
Because there are 5 in that scene.
In that one.
4 dived down to protect the 5th one that had fallen. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I missed that as a child.
Well, this part's insane. It says, Celebrant opened his mouth and released a blinding blast of white energy at Brogo. The energy split open his mask and knocked the colossal brute to the ground. If we remember, Brogo was the one in the very beginning who they said was probably the most powerful.
The strongest.
The strongest of all of the demons. And he was huge, and Celebrant just took him out with one shot. So that tells you how powerful Celebrant is.
Brogo lay, when Celebrant returned to the sky, Brogo lay crisscrossed with deep lacerations and had lost an arm.
Like, dang.
Dang. Dragon King, y'all.
Yeah, he
is king for
went in with his claws and scratched him half to death.
So, the final asteroids are at the same time now
leaving the shrine.
Yeah, they are abandoning the shrine. And so, Orogoro, the
new
eldest
demon
son,
king,
who was able to get the crown from the Demon King's corpse, is now using his battle axe as a crutch because Gilgarol took his foot. He's like, ha ha ha, no. But he approaches the fairy shrine and just pours into the pool and vanishes. And Kendra's like, that's bad.
She's like, oh no. And Bracken is like, no, yes, this is a part of the plan. This is the plan.
Bracken he did not just allow a retreat, he ordered the forces to withdraw. They put up enough of a resistance to make it seem like they were fighting as hard as they could, but once it was deemed too costly, once he'd gotten to that point, after Gorgrog fell and his heirs were both injured, he's like, pull back, now we see if this works.
And the Fairy Queen comes up and says, the demons have always dreamed of conquering my realm. It is a kingdom of light and purity. Nothing will please them more than to ravage it. And Seth is like, wait, you hoped this would happen? And Bracken says, Mother destroyed all of her other shrines. She has evacuated all of her people along with what talismans and energy she could bring. Her kingdom is now empty and has a single gateway.
Kendra watched the demons flood into the shrine, out of one prison and into another.
If all goes as planned, Bracken confirmed. That is so genius.
Absolutely brilliant. And you can see why the wizards would have planned for this.
Yeah.
By putting that singular shrine on the island, they were hoping to just they were trying to distract the wolves from going after the village by putting a trap with a slaughtered cow inside of it off into the side of the woods. Like, whatever they could do, they tried to make it look as appetizing and as easy as possible, so that instead of going after the human world, which would fall indefinitely, they are now drawn to this absolutely
the shiny realm of the Fairy Queen.
Perfect trap.
Yeah. It's so interesting how they, play into the, rivalry enemies of, the demons and, the realm of the Fairy Queen. They are, opposites, light and dark, good and evil, and how they use the hatred that the demons have for the creatures of light into drawing them into destroying their realm.
Mm-hmm. And even though, they mention, the leaders are going, but some of them are going to realize that this is wrong. The smartest ones are going to think, this is too easy.
This is too good to be true.
They resisted, but they didn't do enough to keep us from here. What's going on? But, and this is why it was so important that they at least injure Gorgrog, their leader has fallen, his heir is injured, others of their leaders have also been killed, and it's just they don't want to fight anymore. They don't want to deal with Celebrant and the dragons flying around. Mm-hmm. The sun is up. Everything is working against them. Even they mentioned the atmosphere of disbelief in the world is probably messing with their heads.
Yeah.
When they went in, they were the most feared and despised and respected creatures in the world, that they had to be imprisoned for everyone's good. Now, most people don't even know their names or that they even exist.
It even says, now most of humanity considers their existence a joke. I think that's such an interesting thing to bring up of, like, the unbelief of people in the world helps protect them from, not, like, from like, the demons being able to attack them, but, like, the unbelief, like, affects the demons so much, which is so interesting.
And we even see, like, because we've seen it happen multiple times. Like, even in book 1 of Fablehaven, Seth was able to wander the woods in ignorance because he didn't have his eyes open. He had that innocence that protected him from any retribution. Same thing in book 3. They figured if we go into the woods without having our eyes open to the magical world, we could make it through without being hindered. And it works to a certain degree. And now it's just, we're seeing that same principle applied on a much larger scale.
Mm-hmm. However, I don't think it wouldn't have been enough for the demons, I think, to destroy the world.
So again, what?
I don't think it would have been enough, like, the unbelief to stop the demons.
Oh, no, I agree on that one. It wouldn't have been enough to prevent...
It's enough to make them be like, whoa, something's different, you know?
It's, like, disorienting.
It's very... It brings more discomfort to their existence outside of the prison.
Mm-hmm. But, and it makes the possibility of ravaging the fairy realm as a very tempting, effortless option, whereas the rest of the world is just like, we'll get to that later. Let's do this first. But they won't have the chance.
It's interesting because, like, once the demons start going into the fairy realm, the dragons stop attacking and they're just kind of, like, circling around like guards as the horde pours into the new prison. And it says, for more than 3 hours, Kendra and her friends anxiously observed the procession of demons exiting the rift in the dome and entering a new realm through the shrine. The sheer quantity of demons left Kendra astonished. The others had been right. There was no way that they could have defeated the demons in combat. For every demon they killed, 1,000 more would have emerged.
Yeah, they would have no shot. While they're watching this, also, Raxus comes down. He's like, hey, did I do good? And we're like, yeah, you did so good, buddy. He's like, I helped. I brought reinforcements.
Raxus is so excited. He's like, my scales are strong like my dad's. He let me come into battle with him for the first time.
This was great.
I was able to prove myself to a degree. He's so excited, and it's so cute.
We also get some extra lore about Agid, because he comes flying in on Kamarat, who was the dragon who guarded the entrance of Wormroost. He had, like, the truth serum breath. Agad even has, like, an elaborate saddle to ride in.
And Kendra's like, wait, I thought dragons didn't wear saddles.
And Axe is like, yeah, we gotta give exceptions. Kamarat and Agad are brothers, which makes sense. I mean,
yeah,
Agad being a true wizard.
He was a dragon.
So.
And then Kendra's like asking, how did you convince the dragons to help? And Raxus says that Agad promised to make Celebrant caretaker of Wormroost after this is all over. The dragons of Wormroost have dreamed of governing themselves for centuries. Plus, I told my father how Navarog had vowed that the demon horde would slay him. I think that helped. He let me fly to battle with him for the first time.
He's right. He's on Cloud 9 right now.
I like how he used, like, Navarog to, like, kind of nudge his dad to, like, coming. It's funny.
It's like, I think it helped.
Yeah. And then Agad comes and talks to them. And he kneels before the Fairy Queen. And he says, "You have made an enormous sacrifice," he uttered reverently. "It was necessary," the Fairy Queen replied. "My realm would have withered and died if the demons had reclaimed this world. Can you lock them inside?"
Agad confirms, as long as he has the artifacts, which is why they were essential to Bracken's plant. Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I can make it happen. I can even make it stronger. Like, centuries to reflect really give you ideas of what you should have done better.
He also says that with the help of the dragons, he can seal it. He can't do
magic.
it on his own. He needs the magic of the dragons as well.
Mm-hmm. And it's all probably helpful that they now have 20 dragons to help him with that, whereas it was 5 wizards initially who helped them initially. So it probably evens out power level-wise.
And I like how the Fairy Queen asks Bracken. Mm-hmm. She says, "What say you?"
Because, I mean, Agad does ask if I can use all 5 of the artifacts.
Yeah.
That includes getting Bracken's okay.
Yeah, Bracken says, "You mean my horn? By all means. Use it as you would have used it before. I'm accustomed to this mortal shape. Sail those fiends away as long as you are able.
The former prison not lasted for millennia. This new prison will endure far longer.
That's crazy.
You got some confidence, and I respect it. And now Kendra's like, so what about you guys, though? I don't know if any preserve is worthy of your presence, Fairy Queen. And Haggid's like, well, just so you guys know,
there's a recent vacancy.
And it just so happens to have, like, 3 times the space as your former kingdom did.
And Seth is like, you're gonna live in the former demon prison?
And I like this little thing right here.
Yes.
Creators have many advantages over destroyers. It takes much more talent to build something beautiful than it does to tear it down. Before long, the demons will render my former realm as ugly as Zizix, but they will never recreate what they have spoiled. Conversely, with time and effort, one day Zizix will become as lovely as my former realm.
More beautiful, Bracken promised.
We'll have more space to work with.
Yeah. And he's like, we are all eager to help.
And considering how big the battle was, well, I guess it wasn't super long, but considering how big it was, their casualties were pretty minimal. They only lost 24 fairies, 8 astrids, so we're down to 85.
Wait, oh.
Because if we lost 11 in total, we're at 85.
Yes.
That's still a pretty good number.
That is pretty good.
Part of me almost wishes we lost 12, so we could be at 84, which is another multiple of 12.
And the Fairy Queen asks Bracken to join her in rebuilding her realm.
She asks with tears in her eyes. That's kind of... Like, she is a mother who's been missing her son for centuries.
Yeah, he's been in prison for forever. And Kendra, hearing that Bracken's gonna help rebuild the fairy realm, is a little like, oh, aww. Does that mean I won't see Bracken anymore?
Yeah, we'll see.
And then I like what Agid says. Agid bowed to the Fairy Queen. You are most wise, your majesty. Some imagine the difference between heaven and hell to be a matter of geography. Not so. The difference is much more evident in the individuals who dwell there.
Solid line.
It sounds like a C.S. Lewis line, honestly.
No, yeah, you're right.
That's a deep line.
Yeah, that is very deep. It really does give C.S. Lewis vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I like that a lot. I can get that on a mug. Huh.
Yeah, that is like something that you could put on like a t-shirt or something.
Yeah. Or like just like an inspirational sticker. It's like happiness can be found even in the darkest of times. Like something like that.
Yeah.
You know? So Kendra's like, hey, I got something. And then everybody's like, okay, everybody drop everything. We have to listen to her.
Yeah.
She has saved our lives.
The Fairy Queen's like, tell us what you need, Kendra. We are all in your debt.
Like, say it and it will be done.
If our aid is desired, it will ever be yours. Like, we cannot repay you, even begin to repay you for what you have done.
So yeah, Kendra brings up, so my entire family besides Seth is still in prison. Can we, fix that, please?
And Agid is like, it would be my honor. Dragons can be very persuasive. As can astrids, Bracken promised.
Now I just want to get, centaurs are jerks, satyrs are lazy, dragons are persuasive.
As are astrids.
Astrids are persuasive. Unicorns are rock stars.
And then the Fairy Queen says, I expect the Sphinx himself would help convince his minions to stand down. And
the fact that she even says she suggested, I can imagine that comes with a very bombastic side eye, like, you caused almost all of this.
Yeah, she's like, and if he doesn't, I will make him. And then Seth is like, Fablehaven is kind of a mess, too.
Kind of is a soft word for it.
Yeah.
It is a mess.
Dale's still there, but...
Dale's still holding down the fort, but that's about it.
And then Agid says, I will personally make sure all is set right at Fablehaven and the Living Mirage. And Bracken seconds that promise.
And Kendra's like, whew, okay. So I can go take a nap now? Give me 3 days again? We can use it.
We have literally the most powerful allies in the world saying that they're going to help us with our problems.
It's nice.
This is good.
It's a good way to start repaying the debt. I'll let you know when you're off the hook, though.
And she's also like, I'm really glad Fablehaven will be okay, and I'll still get to see more of Bracken.
And I think this is also a very good part for me.
Yes.
There will be other odds and ends to tidy up. For example, Bracken mentioned that you received advice from your ancestor Patton Burgess. I would like to travel back towards the end of his life and tell him how everything worked out, for his peace of mind. And I'm like, yes! Go let him know that everything works out, please. Let him die with that peace.
And then Seth is like, wait, time travel. I've seen time travel movies with
time
this...
cop, time after time. Hot tub time machine.
Okay, where do you want to do this bit again? He's like, wait, could that change the information he sends to us? Could it change how this all turns out? And Agata's like, well, what you learned from him is already in the past. So that's not going to affect your future.
And I feel like even if he goes on him like the day before he dies, he's just like, hey, it worked out. You can die with that peace of mind.
Yeah.
Like, even not to say, like, hey, make sure you don't change anything you told them. It was just another quick thing, just to say, you did good. We did it.
And then Seth has a really good idea.
I forgot about this one.
He says, could we have Patton let Coulter know we win? Coulter visited him right before he died.
The wizard winked. I think we can help make sure that happened. Although I can make no certain promises. Time travel is, iffy.
Strange. When we try to alter the past, we inevitably find our involvement was already part of the past.
The few wizards I have known who actively chase time paradoxes have all gone into the past without returning. So I strive to keep my interactions with history simple.
A wise policy, the Fairy Queen added. I like getting a little bit of the personality of the Fairy Queen. She's been so, like, little mysterious fairy statue that speaks to your mind. Yeah, so standoffish and mysterious, and it's just... She has some good quips. I'm like,
let's not go messing with the fabric of time.
Like, I can see that your son inherited some sass from you or something. Just a little bit. As much sass is acceptable for a all-powerful fairy queen monarch.
Yeah. So, and then Seth brings up one more thing. Mendigo, who was destroyed at Wormroost by the acid dragon, Soletta. He's like, hey, we still got the hooks. Is that enough? And Agate's like, well, it would be better if we had any of the wood. And Kendra's like, well, we got some of that.
Kendra's like, wait. When Mendigo jumped with us in the knapsack into
the canyon,
a big chunk of him broke off, and we put it in the knapsack. And now that we have the translocator, we can go back to the knapsack. And so Agate is like, yes, with the wood, we can restore Mendigo.
And perhaps add a spark of free will, like we did with Hugo, so we could have 2 self-sentient servants.
Yes, the Fairy Queen suggests that as well.
Mm-hmm. So, that's just another little thing. We could have... Hugo could have a friend.
Yeah.
Can Mendigo talk, though? Hugo could always talk.
No.
Well...
Mendigo can't talk.
Yeah, he doesn't have a mouth of his puppet face. Maybe he'll figure it out.
And then I love how Seth is like, thanks, you guys are the best.
Seth says, oh, Agate Bracken, I almost forgot. Morrisant sends his regards. He told me to thank you and to convey that he bears you no grudges. He seems sorry for what he became. This is wonderful news, Seth, Agate said, eyes shining. It gladdens me to hear that my mentor, not just friend, but mentor, has finally found rest. Morrisant was once a great wizard, perhaps the greatest of our order. It was his wisdom that allowed for a fairy shrine... It was his wisdom that allowed for a shrine to the Fairy Queen so near to Zizix. It is truly miraculous that he entrusted Vasilis to your care. Loaning it to Kendra worked out pretty well, too.
The old wizard laughed, placing one hand on Kendra's shoulder and the other on Seth's. You two have been through a grueling ordeal. Your names will go down in history. We are all so very proud of you. I wish there was a way to fully express our gratitude. For the present, this will have to suffice. You can finally rest.
Go take a nap.
Yeah. Honestly, with great power comes great need to take a nap.
Honestly, that was probably the best reward they could get right now.
Honestly.
After the weeks that they've had.
I think it's so interesting that Morrisant is the one that came up with the idea to put the Fairy Queen's shrine next to Zizix.
Not even necessarily the idea, it was his wisdom that allowed for it, which makes me think that with like such a huge concentration of like dark energy, it was difficult to get the light a similar anchor to the light so close.
That could be true too.
So,
yeah,
I would be interested in that prequel series as well. Just saying.
Or at least a little short story.
Yeah.
About Morrisant. All right.
But yeah, so that's the end of chapter 20.
The end of that chapter.
We have finished the battle for the fate of the world.
We have
and we
gone
won.
Through the climax.
And now it's just a little downhill to the end.
The falling action in our story arc. So,
now that the danger is past, it has come time to pay the piper.
Time to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, starting of chapter 29 is called Prisoners, and the first thing we see is Newell munching on a piece of fruit, saying, I bet you thought you didn't have to pay up. You'd never have to come in and pay your dues.
And Seth is like, I am happily paying you your reward, because it means the world is saved.
And we're alive. That I'm alive to pay it, and you're alive to receive the payment.
And Newell is just like, you're sure that Stan is okay with this new technology?
Even more than that, he's like, you have to confirm it with Stan.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to have,
we're not gonna have it
contraband.
Taken away. Yeah.
We're not going to have it liable to be taken away because you didn't clear it with your guardians first. He needs to be on board. It needs to be very clear the fact that we earned this and we had a legitimate deal.
Mm-hmm. And Seth is like, okay.
We followed Seth to the ends of the earth and confronted some incredibly ugly demons. They were unsightly, Doran agreed with a wince, and tough. And so it's just like, they go on for a little bit like, oh no, we saved our Astrids multiple times, things like that.
Yeah.
But like, we were heroes, we earned this. And Seth's like, I will do my best, but I gotta go. Okay?
He's like, my family is waiting on me.
So we now are going to have the long-awaited reunion.
Yeah.
They've
all been waiting for him.
Yes. It's been a few days since the final battle. They were actually hanging out in Living Mirage, and just some tents waiting for everything to calm down. Because, I mean, at this point, Living Mirage was still kind of under the control of the society, all that.
Wait, they were waiting at Shoreless Isle. You said they were waiting at Living Mirage.
Thank you. They were waiting at the Shoreless Isle for Living Mirage to cool down a bit.
Yeah.
The Sphinx, Agid, Bracken, they all showed up trying to help reorganize everything.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Also, Trask and Warren went along.
Warren would definitely want to be there.
He's like, haha, you couldn't catch me.
Yeah, I'm the person who you couldn't put in your prison, and now I'm here to make sure
reorganize the government.
Behave.
So, the dragons
Once it was finally safe, they were like, okay, you guys can come.
The dragons had obliterated the rear guard left behind for the demons, and Agid was able to steal off the fairy shrine pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. They just transported the enormous dome that had originally sheltered the doorway to Zizix to the new prison. So, I mean, if it ain't broke, except it was kind of broken. If it is broke, fix it and then reuse it.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. Agid is now the caretaker of Living Mirage. Because, I mean, you can't trust the Sphinx.
Heck no.
Obviously, so...
And also, I mean, it's not... Like, odds are it's not going to be used as a secret preserve again, because... I mean, it mentions that Agid has collected all the artifacts and is going to begin, like, hiding them around the world. Mm-hmm. Like, I doubt he's going to use the same places twice.
It's not so secret anymore.
Yeah, so, I mean, Living Mirage is no longer such a power play.
Yeah. So Seth goes up to
Actually, it might not be a bad idea to reuse one, like, for one of them. Just, like, nobody would see it coming.
That's probably not as good an idea as you think it would be when it comes to protecting the world from demons.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's not a terrible idea for just one of the artifacts.
Okay, but, like, someone would probably think of it and look, though.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. We can theorize on that another time.
There's a lot riding on it, so...
Yeah, like, where would you hide the artifacts? But we'll talk about that later. So...
Kendra is like, so, what was that conversation with Newell and Doran about? And Seth's like, I have some promises I have to deliver on.
And Warren's just like, what did you promise?
And Seth's like, a real television of their own. I think they've earned it.
And Warren's like, does your grandpa know?
Seth shook his head.
Good luck with that. Warren's up there with this
Warren's like, that's your problem. not mine.
Have fun trying to get that amendment passed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They're going through the upper floors of the Great Ziggurat.
Very different from the prison that they are mostly accustomed to.
Yeah. Warren knocks on the door that they came up to, and it's their parents.
Seth gets a little bit nervous. It's been several months since they last saw their parents.
And he's actively wondering, he's saying he wondered how they were dealing with being forcibly inserted into a world of magical creatures he and Kendra had discovered 2 summers ago.
His dad answered the door. He looked good, maybe a little slimmer. It's the kids, he called, voice breaking into a huge smile. As he stared at Kendra, tears gathered in his eyes. He wrapped her up in a huge hug, rocking her from side to side.
So sweet.
Well,
Hi, Daddy.
I mean, from his perspective, she was
dead. And then not dead, but then they were prisoners, and all of a sudden, all this fake stuff you thought wasn't real is real, and the world does not make sense.
Yeah, the last time he saw his son, it was at his daughter's funeral. The last time he saw his daughter, it was her dead body in a casket.
Yeah.
You can see why Kendra got the first hug.
Seth put his hands on his hips. Of course Kendra gets all the attention because you thought she was dead. I had a bunch of near misses, you know. Probably more than her.
We love you too, son, Dad said, still holding Kendra.
Like, we love you too. Give me a sec. And then their mom comes rushing in and clings to Kendra, shedding hysterical tears.
And only after she gets Kendra stolen away does his dad then turn to Seth.
Yeah. I hear you're quite the hero, Dad said.
I'm sure things got exaggerated, Seth said. I did manage to kill 2 of the most powerful demons who ever lived. I pretty much got revenge for all humanity on the villains who opened Zizix. Wish he could have been there with a video camera.
I heard Kendra played a role as well, Dad said.
Yeah, she has this habit of trying to top me. I had a really good day, but guess what I didn't do? I didn't kill the Demon King. Kendra upstaged me again.
I heard she did it with the sword you found, Dad said.
That's what I keep trying to tell everyone! Finally, someone gets it. I think Mom is trying to choke Kendra to death.
The comment brought his mom over to him. She embraced him tightly.
Hey, Mom, Seth grunted. I thought I was kidding about the strangulation.
Come inside, Dad invited, shaking hands with Warren.
Because they haven't met yet.
Yeah, that's true.
But
because they might briefly know. He might have met him once, but like not before he was turned into an albino.
And not before he knew that he'd seen his kids' lives multiple times.
Not after he was killed, yeah.
But yeah,
so
bringing up though an important point that one of our commenters actually brought up a few episodes ago.
Shout out to Skeleton 359.
Mm-hmm. One of the things Seth mentions is that he's wondering how his parents will deal with being forcibly inserted into a world of magical creatures. And the comment we got said...
it was asking, like, what our thoughts were on the way that Seth and Kendra's parents were forced into the magical world at the end of book 4. And he mentions how Dan emphasizes how people are supposed to discover the magical world on their own, but when their parents were kidnapped, they were essentially forced to believe. And do we think there are any sort of consequences that the Sphinx and his followers will face for breaking this rule? Because it's not really, like, directly addressed in the books. So we're just going to kind of talk about it right now.
Mm-hmm. And so when we got this comment, we actually went looking, because we remember that there was a conversation that Grandpa and Grandma Sorensen had regarding Seth and Kendra's parents and their state of disbelief, because it was causing a bunch of issues.
Yeah.
Like in book 3, they were about to be called... like kidnappers of Kendra and Seth because
they're basically like, our kids have been there for over a month. Can we have our kids back?
And they're just like, oh, but they're having such a good time. Also, you know, they might die if they leave.
They're like, we really need to keep Kendra and Seth at Fablehaven.
Like, it's the only place they're safe. What'd you hear? What? Huh?
So we're gonna read a little passage from book 3 talking about that.
So at this point, like, they were trying to get Kendra's and Seth's parents to realize the truth because it would just make things a lot more easy to explain. Like, yeah, there's an evil society hunting your children and we need to keep them safe. That's why they need to stay here. But when they were trying to get their parents to see the see the truth, Kendra even asks, can we force Mom and Dad to see through the illusion hiding the creatures here? Kendra asked. Just give them the milk and point them toward the fairies. Take them into the barn to see Viola. Grandpa shook his head. I'm not sure. Total unbelief is a powerful inhibitor. It can blind an individual to obvious truths no matter what others do or say. The milk might not have worked on them. That is part of the reason I let people discover the secrets of Fablehaven through finding clues. So, I think that implies it's not necessarily that people have to discover it on their own, it's that Grandpa's method finds it more easily. Finds that it works more effectively to wear down the wall of unbelief, because, I mean, once we get past a certain age, most adults accept fairies, dragons, demons, those things aren't real.
Yeah.
And we have that wall blocking us from the possibilities. Whereas if you follow the clues, it helps break that down so that when you do try the milk, you are curious enough that the milk can work and expose your mind. So, do I think that there's any direct consequences for forcing somebody to realize that the magical creatures are real? No.
Yeah, I don't know if there's really anything, like, it's not like a written rule.
Yeah.
It's like an unspoken rule of, like, operating in the magical world is that you don't involve people who don't believe because they're not involved in this world and they can't really interact with it.
Yeah.
Unless they believe.
And for most things, it doesn't really matter because with magical creatures, they avoid disbelief. Like it mentions later on that most magical creatures dislike unbelief in the same way and avoid it in the same way that you or I might avoid an offensive odor. It's not appealing to them. That's what would protect someone walking through Fablehaven without that understanding and knowledge. Now, however, the Sphinx does not have that limitation because he is not a magical creature. He is a mortal, so he can interact with people who don't believe without any ill effects, really.
I'm wondering if it was like a slightly different situation. So let's say, like the treaty at Fablehaven, it like there are rules of like things like you can and can't do. Mm-hmm. If you like harm someone, you are then open yourself to harm back, retaliation. Mm-hmm. And
where also trespassing is also a form of breaking the rules.
Yeah.
In certain areas.
And so let's say you have one person who knows about the magical world and then you have another person who doesn't. And the person who knows about the magical world puts the unknowing person in danger using them in some sort of way with the magical world. Would that person who knows, who has the knowledge, have some sort of consequences for their actions? And I think, yes, they would, but the way the Sphinx did it, it wasn't under any sort of contract or treaty or anything. So I don't think there's any retaliation that he faces.
Like if he'd had used, for example, Scott and Marla to, for example, retrieve the Font of Immortality from the vault in Living Mirage because they would be protected from some of the creatures or traps that they encountered, I feel like that would be breaking some rules.
Yeah.
And we'll address this a bit in Dragon Watch as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it does come up in Dragon Watch.
Because I think all he was doing was just taking them prisoner, that would forcibly induct them, but not in a way that broke any of the, like, cardinal...
the magical
rules.
However, the social rules of the magical world...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's
Shattered.
Definitely, like, big no-no. You don't cross that line, and he crossed that line.
You leave the no-mages alone.
Yeah.
Leave the muggles alone.
Leave the muggles to what they're doing. But he didn't. And because of that, I feel like later in this chapter when they talk about the Sphinx and all that he's done, I don't think they directly address it, but I feel like it's kind of taken in with some of his crimes that he's committed.
Agreed. So yeah, they also mentioned I don't know, I feel like it'd be interesting to hear, like, how the Sphinx did, like, address it. Like, he kidnapped these people. They had to be very confused, like, why, what is going on?
Yeah, they're like, what, do you want money? Like, what is going, like, the typical ransom or something?
Mm-hmm. And, like, probably the Sphinx honestly probably had a decent time with it, being like, oh, yeah, your kids are involved with a multinational, like, multi-dimensional battle and war that we're trying to win, so...
Yeah, how does that conversation go? Does someone want to write that fan fiction?
Maybe
someone's written it. I don't know.
Maybe someone has a lot to write already, so stop trying to give her more to do.
Okay, well, that's not my fault that you're not writing.
Hey, I was working on the bracket one.
Hey, National Writing Month is coming up.
Oh, yeah. That's November, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'll see.
We could look on... whatever, what's it called? AO3.
AO3. I'll take a look at it.
Maybe it already exists. Maybe someone already did the work for you.
It's possible. I'll take a look.
It's a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of our thoughts on
that comment specifically.
Yeah.
About what consequences the Sphinx would face.
Yeah.
But back to the book.
They enter their parents' room, which is pretty nice. It says... Seth could not believe the opulent room his parents were occupying. From the art on the walls to the rich drapes, from masterful tapestries to bejeweled furnishings, the room seemed designed to flaunt limitless wealth. You guys know we've been staying in a tent, Seth complained.
And they do assure him that, like, this was only a recent change. Like, once the Sphinx arrived, they got him out of the prison and into a nicer furnishings. But then... Another
sweet
arrived.
Reunion.
Grandma and Grandpa Larson came out of an adjoining room. Suddenly, Seth understood why his parents had gotten so emotional when they saw Kendra. Intellectually, he had known that his Grandma and Grandpa Larson were not actually dead, but on some level, that knowledge had not been real until now. He raced to Grandma Larson and hugged her. And I mean, it's been 3 years since he's seen them.
Yeah.
Probably, like, maybe 2.5, but, like, somewhere in that ballpark. And he's just like, you're alive.
And it's so cute. She says, what happened to my little Seth? I can't believe how tall you are. And he's I can't believe how alive you are. He responded, nose stuffy with tears.
At the same time, Kendra's hugging Grandpa Larson, who she had not yet seen, because he was at Living Mirage the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you were so brave to be here all that time. It must have been horrible. All for nothing, he chuckled. I set you up for disaster. I may have blown it as a spy, but I hear you two are carrying on the Sorensen family tradition.
You risked our life for us, Seth said, hugging his Grandpa Larson. I have the best family ever. I'll second that, Grandpa Sorensen said, entering the room with his wife. You said it, kid.
That's nice. We do get reassurances here that though the Sphinx did forcibly bring their parents into the world, the Sphinx did not mistreat them. Their room wasn't terrific, but it wasn't in a dungeon.
Their dad is like, the food was actually pretty good.
Which I feel like is a nice reference back to book 1 when he was all about the snails.
Yeah. If this had been voluntary, it almost could have been a vacation.
I mean, they didn't have to work.
An involuntary vacation.
Wait, what are you referencing?
A mandatory vacation. The first chapter in book 1.
Oh my gosh.
A mandatory vacation. I've never noticed that. It's basically a reference to chapter 1. A mandatory vacation. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely had to take their own.
That's chapter 1.
They're like, haha.
I like that.
That's great. Alright. They have all the reunions wrapped up, and they head over to a feast that has been prepared with Agid and the rest of the
There's a lot of
members of the party.
Seth noticed that Warren sat by Vanessa, Bracken by Kendra, Tanu joined them, and Maddox and Berrigan and Elise and Mara, all fully held by the Sands of Sanctity. All the people who way back at Obsidian Waste were captured.
And Elise, who was captured when they were all trying to get
Tanu.
And Tanu, yeah.
Our homie Tanu.
Homie boy. But yeah, so
and then
everybody's here. And Newell and Doran, so probably like around 20 people?
Yeah, and it's funny. Newell and Doran show up dressed to impress. They want to make a good impression on Seth and Kendra's parents.
They sat as close to Seth as they could, across from him and down a little, beside his mom.
And Seth is like, Mom, these guys are Newell and Doran. They're my best friends at Fablehaven. And then their mom is like, good to meet you. I'm Marla. But you can tell she's kind of uneasy. She keeps looking at their goat legs.
She's like, Seth is like, you have drunk the milk, right?
She's like, yeah, I see them.
The brittle smile is referenced.
Yeah.
I mean, valid. This is probably, like, they were kept in a prison, like, for most of the time. So, like, though they logically probably understood it, this is probably one of their first
interactions.
Yeah. Exposures. Yeah. To, like,
magical creatures.
Real magical creatures. Like, maybe they saw goblins or something, but that's probably about it. It's just like, okay, here we go. And so, don't worry, Newell said with a casual wave of his hand. Babes always get shy around us.
Dorn swatted Newell. Stop! That's his mother. He turned to Marla, spreading a napkin on his lap. Seth is such an exemplary young man. He has been a terrific influence on me. He's not a shirtless ruffian like others I know.
Ruffian, Newell spluttered. How about hypocrite? You know who you look like in that vest? Burl. And they really just... At this point, Burl's name is becoming an insult. I kind of feel bad.
He's like, I told you, Dorn murmured out of the side of his mouth. I'm trying to make a good impression.
And this is a great line. Well, I'm trying to make an honest impression. Who wants to have a gravy drinking contest?
And then they talk about all of the courses and the full feast that they have. Hours and hours.
And so everybody warms up to each other. We're all telling stories, jokes, having contests of eating food as fast as you can. It honestly gives vibes of like a Christmas or a Thanksgiving dinner with everybody together.
This part is really sweet. Seth almost felt like nobody in his family had ever been abducted or presumed dead. Just like, it's almost like things are almost back to normal.
That applies to every single member of his family except for him. Well, I guess not. I mean,
they kind of thought he was dead when he got shot in the stomach.
Abducted or presumed dead. Abducted
Kendra, and wonder if he was dead. Yeah. Maybe not presumed, but worried.
Yeah, pretty much everybody has been abducted or presumed dead. That's rough.
Yeah, so as dessert is coming out, Agate is like, okay, thank you all for joining me in this very wonderful and spirited feast.
It is the most...
Yeah.
We saw it at the same time. It is the most spirited feast I've enjoyed since before most of you were born. That includes Stan and Hank.
And he's like, thank you everyone. We have won a miraculous victory. Having narrowly avoided disaster, I suspect we can all look on the simplest of pleasures with renewed appreciation. We have an opportunity to help define a new future, to safeguard it against some of the perils we have endured, and to recover from the losses we have sustained. Let us take a moment to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice to help us to victory.
And of course, we think of Coulter. Mm-hmm. Seth, that's the first name that comes to Seth's mind, because he had to watch that. Also, he thinks of the brave Astrids, the fairies who fell. I don't think we mentioned there were also a couple of unicorns. I think two unicorns who fell as well. And then he thinks of Lena, Dugan, Mendigo, all who fell in this cause as a direct result of what the Sphinx was attempting.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads us to our next topic. Agate is saying, I will bear a lot of the responsibilities, I will hide the artifacts, I will do all these things, but I also have to do...
We also have to mend the broken preserves and everything.
All these things. But I also have the responsibility of deciding what needs to happen with the Sphinx.
Yes.
And the room just goes quiet.
And he says, after the battle on Shoreless Isle, I pondered how to deal with the Sphinx. He offered us pivotal assistance at the end, but it was aid for a catastrophe that he had worked tirelessly to manufacture through deceit, sabotage, and even murder. My inclination was to let nature take its course. The Sphinx has been prolonging his life using the font of immortality, and I decided an appropriate punishment would be to forbid him use of that artifact. In essence, a death sentence.
But when the Sphinx heard about this, he started a conversation with Agate. The Sphinx accepted the proposal, the justice, but then he also proposed another solution. He brings up the point that with the new demon prison, we will also need 5 new Eternals. as we can now attest to, being an Eternal is not an easy job. Like, several of the Eternals were weighed down by the weight of their accumulated years, to the point, like, Mark he was begging for death at the end. Whereas now, the Sphinx is asking, what if I was one of those Eternals? And Agad thinks, well, he already has that knack for survival. His very presence would keep the demon prison closed.
So he wouldn't be able to open it again without him dying.
Which he would not like to do.
Yeah. He's all about surviving. Someone else we know.
I heard it! I saw it!
He also says that the Sphinx did submit to scrutiny from both Bracken and the Fairy Queen, who believe he is sincere. But he also says, we all know the Sphinx is a master of persuasion. I decided to lay the matter here before you, without the Sphinx here to exercise his powers of influence. I avow beforehand that, regardless of my own opinions, I will abide by whatever decision we make as a body right now. And when he suggests that he could be an Eternal, everyone is like, there's a little bit of an uproar, and everyone is talking at once.
Mm-hmm. And I would be interested to know, what's your take on this, Megan? Do you think, is this a good punishment or good? Because part of me wants to say no.
And that's exactly how I think Kendra feels. How she says, I want to deny him this, but I think it would ultimately be a good punishment for him. And for me, I think I agree with her. But another part of me just thinks we would be better off without him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he wants this. He is terrified of the void of death. And he's trying to do everything in his power to avoid that. But at the same time, like, does he deserve to live when so many people died because of his actions? Does he deserve to get what he wants?
Mm-hmm. And that's what it feels like, is that we know the Sphinx is a master manipulator. And so he's the kind of person that could suggest what he wants and make you think it was your idea.
Mm-hmm. Vanessa even mentions this. She's like, I have known the Sphinx for a long time. I've worked for him. As Agad mentioned at the outset, he is a deceiver, a master manipulator. Making him an Eternal seems appropriate, but he's an expert at making his interests make sense.
Mm-hmm.
He may not be here to speak, but Agad is delivering his rhetoric. The Sphinx has a sinister history of working mischief while wearing a friendly face. The only way to be safe from the Sphinx is if he ceases to exist.
It's a hard question. Bracken brings up a good point. He says, the Sphinx has a strong will. He has much practice in shielding his thoughts from external scrutiny, but as I extensively probed his mind, I came to believe he wants to become an Eternal for acceptable reasons. First, he wants to persist. He has a profound fear of death, coupled with a powerful enjoyment of existence. Second, he wants a shot at redemption. He knows he spawned a catastrophe, which was never his intention. He wants to do everything in his power to ensure that a similar crisis never happens again. And at last he feels guilty and sees this as a fitting punishment. I have no love for the Sphinx, and I have studied him long and hard. This is all I found. It's such a hard decision.
Mm-hmm. I think I would at the end. I would agree with Vanessa, and I'd say, at the end of the day, I think the world is just safer without him. We can find other Eternals. Prepare them more than those who initially accepted it were prepared, with the understanding that the world is going to change around you, people will die, and it's going to be hard. Like, prepare them in more ways than the originals were, and just go with that. I think it would be safer than trusting someone who has already stabbed you in the back. Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, that's shame on me.
Yeah. I feel inclined to agree with that. I think it would be better because he's just too much of a risk.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he's bound to the right cause this time. He's too good at getting what he wants and doing things in unexpected ways. He's very cunning. And so I think I would also vote to not let him.
Like, if he wanted to die, maybe I'd say make him eternal. Like, at
Are
that
we
point,
both just petty? Like,
maybe a little bit, but at the same time, like, they're trying to make this be a punishment. It's not a punishment if he wants it. And
also, you made a good point of, like, you can find other people to be Eternals. Like, it's a hard job to... It's difficult shoes to fill, and that's where it can get difficult. And at the same time, if they put limits on him being able to, like, go places or travel, and he had to, like, be in, like, one place...
It doesn't mention that Agate said I would keep an eye on him. He would not have as much. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Leeway.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
He would take extra precautions, personally monitoring him and installing a multitude of magical and practical safeguards, but he would be on a leash.
And I think in that way, if like that is like what they do with him, it would feel more like a punishment. And with those stipulations, I would be more inclined to let him be an Eternal because, like, he's so far used his long life for evil, and if you put the limitations on him of, like, not being able to move freely about and do whatever he wants, it would feel more like a punishment in that he's using his best skills of staying alive and surviving being forced for good. Mm-hmm. So...
What it honestly comes down to is, though, Seth and Kendra make eye contact. And I love this, because there's this moment of sibling telepathy, which is definitely a thing. There are moments when I can look at my siblings and I know what they're thinking and if we're on the same page.
True.
Or, like, even, like, half the time when we've been talking today, we'll look at each other, like, I'll say something.
Say the same thing.
You'll hear it in implication or a reference, and I'll look at you and I'll hear the same thing without saying a word, and we'll speak in unison. We'll just know what each other is thinking.
Yeah.
Same thing happening here. Kendra stands up first. I hate the Sphinx. I despise him for his lies and for what he did to us. If what he wants most is a long life, I just desperately want to take that away from him, to hurt him like he hurt us. I dread the thought of him feeling like he wormed out of consequences of his treachery, but I think this punishment makes sense. She sat down. Seth stood up. Me too.
And then Bracken gives his vote. My horn has kept him alive. The influence of my horn will continue to keep him alive. I can live with letting the Sphinx survive under these conditions. I agree that he will fill the role well. And then this is where Vanessa talks about he's a good manipulator, making his ideas seem like a good idea. Mm-hmm. And then Doran leapt to his feet. Vanessa is a beautiful woman and should be taken very seriously for her mind and her charming personality. Thank you.
And then, interesting side note.
Yeah.
Mara stands up. For reference, Mara is the daughter of the caretakers of Painted Mesa Preserve. Lost Mesa, thank you.
Painted Mesa is the actual Mesa.
Is the actual Mesa, thank you. The Lost Mesa Preserve, another secret preserve like Fablehaven in Arizona that was overthrown due to the Sphinx's actions. I understand Vanessa's concerns, Mara said. His agents killed my mother. I will never forgive him, but I think making him an Eternal is a better punishment than killing him. The long life of an Eternal will force him to provide much more payment for his crimes than a quick death could possibly offer. But it also provides opportunities for him to also commit more crimes, but okay. And those same qualities that made him so dangerous will hold the new Zizix shut. Zizix is not the only danger.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay. I think Mara makes a really good point of, like, making him live longer, even if that's technically what he wants, is still, like, living out of the punishment is better than a quick death. Mm-hmm. And I can, like, it's hard because I can see both sides. Mm-hmm. And that's why I keep going back and forth.
I think at the end of the day, though, I would still say no.
Yeah?
He's done too much. He's too much of a liability.
I think it would depend on the limitations that are set upon him.
But in the end, the vote to make the Sphinx an eternal was unanimous, except for Vanessa and the satyrs. The satyrs would mean a lot more, if not for that Doran comment.
Yeah. And then Agate is like, I didn't want to try to make this decision alone, nor did I feel it would be fair to those he had wronged. But I feel good about the decision we have reached. I think it will make the new demon prison more secure. And I believe time will demonstrate that, while having an element of mercy, the punishment we resolved on is exacting and severe. Now, how about some dessert?
I would love some. What do you got?
Nothing. I got that last chapter for you, served up on a platter. Here we are.
I will take it.
We have reached the final chapter in Fablehaven.
The last melon.
There you go. The last melon served up on a platter.
All right.
Chapter 30, A New Shrine.
On a hot summer day, Kendra is strolling through the gardens of Fablehaven. It's been a couple of months?
Probably a couple months. It's a
feels
hot
like?
Summer day.
Yeah,
so
feels like, right?
This would have, the ending would have been in April.
Yeah.
So it's probably like June or July.
Yeah, I would say
3 months.
2-3 months, yeah. That's a feel good. So, Fablehaven is back into the swing of things. There's a new barn for Viola.
Bigger than before, so she can grow.
Agate had engineered a direct road from Fablehaven to the Old Manor, where the Larsons are taking up residence.
And Seth has set up the TV for the satyrs. Grandpa Sorensen had reluctantly caved in after the agreement had been explained, and instead of a generator, he had run electrical lines to their nearest cottage.
So they now get to have television, and Grandpa had hoped that it would cease to be such a novelty after a little while, but nope. So far, this flat screen with surround sound is the greatest wonder in Fablehaven. Their Newland and Doran have never been so popular, nor so jovial.
Yeah.
So.
Seth still complained that he had not been present when Agate and the dragons had reclaimed Fablehaven from the centaurs, although he got to visit not long afterward to dismiss the wraiths. Bracken and several Astrids lent some assistance, and Bracken had been surprised to discover that the unicorn horn the centaurs prized actually belonged to him. As punishment for their rebellion, he reclaimed his horn, and Agate reduced their roaming privileges and territorial holdings.
Suck on that.
That is crazy. The first horn from Grunhold is Bracken's horn.
Which just makes me want to learn the story that much more. Bracken mentioned initially that he'd given his first horn as a gift to someone who had saved his life. Now, that wasn't Bracken.
Patton.
Yeah, that wasn't Patton. Because Bracken would have already been imprisoned at that point.
So how the heck did Patton get his hands on Bracken's first horn?
And where has it gone between? What hands has it changed?
Yeah, what adventures has it seen in between?
Very interesting to learn about.
Yeah.
But yes, so Grunhold still has some shieldings and enchantments, but the horn was definitely a downgrade from the horn.
Mm-hmm. Now Kendra, of course, is thinking about Bracken.
As she's wondering.
Yeah. He had left Fablehaven before she got to come back to Fablehaven, but he had promised at Living Mirage, when they were saying goodbye, that he would visit before too long. But his mom needs his help in transforming Zizix into the new fairy realm.
Such a mama's boy.
But before he had left, he used his powers to sever the narcoleptic hold Vanessa had on the Sorensens and their friends. But he left 2 of the centaurs under her connection, Cloudwing and Stormbrow.
Just in case, you never know when it might be helpful.
I mean, it's good to have the leaders just in case.
Mm-hmm. And so, I also find it, it's kind of valid that Kendra's kind of concerned that Bracken won't come back and talk to her. Because, I mean, when he says soon, is that soon for a mortal being or for an immortal being? This is going to be a Peter Pan situation? Who here's watched Hook recently?
Is this a Jesus from the Chosen situation? Soon.
Soon. What does soon mean? Soon. So things are back to normal. Her parents had moved in to the main house. Grandpa and Grandpa Sorensen are still the caretakers, whereas Grandma and Grandpa Larson were in the old manor.
They're debating if Kendra and Seth will go to public school or just get school here at Fablehaven from, like, homeschool.
Dale was found alive and well.
Dale! Yeah!
Don't get an in-person reference, but at least he has a shout-out.
He perseveres.
He's still alive. It's also, like Kendra mentions, it's really nice for her to have not just all of her family alive and well, but all of her family is now at Fablehaven. Mm-hmm. And just enjoying the vibes.
Yeah. She said their lives had become calm. Almost too calm.
But Kendra is not just wandering for the scenery, the open, fresh air. No. She has received a visitor. The fairy Shiara, who we have referred to multiple times as the most reliable fairy at Fablehaven, had come by before around noon to say, hey, there's going to be a surprise visitor later today. And Kendra, of course, takes this as, who do I know that makes fairies very, very excited when he comes near? And so she's just praying that Bracken's going to come by.
Yep. And as she goes toward the house, it is not Bracken who shows up, but a silver white dragon that comes gliding over the tree tops. Ducking and tucking and diving, he spiraled down into the yard, and it is Raxtus, of course.
And Kendra's happy to see him. Who wouldn't be happy to see that great boy?
Mm-hmm. And of course, Shiara is excited because Shiara helped raise Raxtus. It's basically his mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he calls him his foster fairy.
Yeah.
But Kendra is also still, though, just a bit disappointed. She's like, dang it. But she's like, you're very impressive, Raxtus. It was a great landing. And so Raxtus has actually been helping out in the fairy realm with the rebuilding, which is actually nice. Like, yes, he got some extra acceptance from his dad because he was involved with taking out some of the demons. Like, his dad even saw him take out some demons when they had abolished the rear guard. And his dad was like, okay, I'm going to respect you a little bit more.
Yeah, he says that now that Celebrant runs Worm Roost, that he has a whole training regimen planned when he gets back from helping with the Fairy Queen.
But I do like that even though Raxus is getting, like, these additional acknowledgement from his father, he still is helping out the Fairy Queen, because they liked him before he was cool.
He remembers his roots.
Mm-hmm. And so he even makes sure Kendra knows. He's like, he'll help me become a more effective fighter, but I promise I won't let it turn me into an idiot.
Yeah.
He's like, maybe it'll make me a little bit scarier.
She's like, definitely. And then he's like, I didn't come here alone.
And Kendra's like, oh, really?
She's trying to be nonchalant. She's like, you didn't?
You gotta be nonchalant.
And
I need to show you that video one time.
And then Raxtus is like, not referring to who it is. He's like, he wanted me to bring you to meet him. And Kendra's like, are we talking about Bracken?
And then Raxtus is like, nah, Krilling. Remember him? He was one of your bodyguards.
Kendra stared at Raxtus blankly.
The number of times I do something similar to that with my students, where they're like,
that is definitely something you do.
100%. They're like, what are we doing today? I'm like, oh, we're taking a test. They're like, what? And I was like, jokes. But they fall for it almost every single time. It's really funny.
It's their biggest fear, a pop quiz or something.
I mean, it has come true once or twice.
Oh, gosh. Well, then.
They're usually like 5 questions.
Okay.
They can't be too mad about those. On behalf of them, I let them use their notes.
All right.
I'm not mean.
Not Bracken. Raxtus says, I'm kidding. Of course, Bracken. But don't mention that I told you. It's supposed to be a surprise.
I promise to act surprised. It's the scene from Lion King. Yeah. Promise I'll act surprised. Oh, you naughty boy. Sorry, I can't really do a Jeremy Irons. Yeah. I'm just not that good.
No, she's getting nervous. And Rex is like, he's been talking about you a lot.
Ooh. It had been weeks since she had last seen him.
Yeah.
And she's just like, okay.
Like, I'm gonna fly you there to him, then get out of the way, and give you two a little privacy.
Rex is like, don't worry, I'll make sure that nobody comes looking for you. You'll have your own. You'll have some time alone.
Rex just picks her up, and on the way over, she's getting a little anxious. She's like,
Did I do my
I don't really know what to. Her anxiety is taking her everywhere. She's like, it was one thing to daydream about romance, and another to confront it in the light of day. What could the surprise be? What if he proposed? She was not ready for something like that.
She was going way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Her anxiety is thinking like, what if this happens? And I'm just like, girl, you're like 15.
Like, sure, he was cute and brave and loyal and a horse, but best of all, he was someone she could really trust, which, fair. That is something that she should definitely value in a man. But she was 15, and he was older than most countries.
Okay, yeah,
good way to put
that's
it.
a good reminder. No matter how young he seemed.
So,
She's
I'm
getting
honestly
all
surprised she doesn't immediately go to, like,
anxious.
did I do my hair? Like, are we sure we want to, like, let's keep it a little bit slower. I don't want the wind to mess up my hair. Like,
Yeah.
should have maybe done some makeup.
I mean, they went on an adventure together, and he saw her in all stages, so...
That's fair.
He still loves her. Likes her. I shouldn't say love yet. He doesn't know.
Nah.
But...
They're 15 and
yeah,
undetermined. We can leave that alone.
however, and immortal, so... Yeah, she's feeling all these, like, anxious of, like, what if he wants a romantic relationship? I don't really know what to do. And
Like,
then...
we can snuggle a little bit when the world's about to end, but now...
Yeah. And, well,
And
here they are. They arrive.
Wait, hang on. I gotta read this bit.
Okay.
It was one thing to snuggle a little bit when the world seemed about to end, and quite another to explain to her parents that she wanted to date an ancient magical horse.
Well, when you put it like that... Well, she has run out of time to be anxious about it because they have arrived. Bracken stood on the steps up to the boardwalk, dressed in a loose white shirt and jeans. Devastatingly handsome, he jogged toward Kendra once she had landed.
Definitely also trying to look nonchalant.
Yeah. He's like, "Hi, Kendra." Bracken said, looking pleased, clearly expecting her to be surprised.
It's you!
What are
you doing here?
And she's...
100% he saw through it, but he decided to let her have it.
She asked about his father, and he says, "My dad shows subtle signs of improvement. He hasn't spoken. Our best healers are working with him. He may not ever fully recover, but we have hope."
Which is nice.
Yeah. And then he's like, "I'm happy to see you. I feel the same way." And he's like, "Come, I want to show you something."
So they go off onto the dock, the boardwalk, and they walk out on the little pier that next to the boathouse. They look out towards the island where the Fairy Queen's shrine used to be before it was demolished, or it was sacrificed in Book 3 in order to create the talisman that eradicated the Shadow Plague. So Bracken starts deciding to be all coy and mysterious. He's like, "Aren't you wondering how I got here?"
And Kendra's like, Raxtus?
I feel like that was kind of obvious. And he's like, sort of. Like, she guesses the translocator, but he's like, nope, already Agate has started hiding them around the world. One more time.
Then she realizes, "You fixed the shrine?" And then Bracken says, "This is our first new shrine, the second entrance to our kingdom. In the coming years, we hope to create many new shrines, but Fablehaven got the honor of hosting the first."
Agate helped us lay the groundwork. Which, this, combined with the conversation about Morrisant helping with the other, makes me really wonder, like, what goes into making a shrine to the fairy kingdom? It seems like it's not just like a plop down the fairy statue and call it a day. It seems to be a bit more than that.
Well, remember how breaking or destroying a fairy shrine has a lot of energy. I'm sure creating one takes a lot as well.
I think that is a very good explanation, and I will accept it and move on.
Yes. So Bracken is like, "Now I can visit whenever I want."
And of course, Kendra flushes at that.
She's flushing. She's like, "That would be nice."
I wouldn't mind that at all. He's like, "I hope to visit quite a bit, get to know your parents and your grandparents better, hang out with Seth. He's an interesting guy.
He's pretty cool, Kendra said, trying to manage her expectations.
Bracken keeps going about how like, he wants to help her family. Like, Seth still owes the singing sisters a favor.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up.
Still hanging over his head.
Seth does still have that thing with the singing sisters now that he used the sword to win.
Now we gotta pay the piper. And all of these things. And he's just like, and as much as I love your family, there is one other larger reason that I would like to visit Fablehaven.
Kendra is very nervous.
How come?
He says, I haven't been drawn to a girl in a long time, Bracken said. Against all odds, this time my mother actually approves. He turned Kendra toward him, hands on her shoulders. I mean, you know, he added softly, smiling, what kind of unicorn wouldn't be drawn to a virtuous maiden?
And what kind of girl doesn't like unicorns? Kendra teased, looking up at him.
Here's the problem, Bracken.
That was such cute banter, though. That was
very cute.
It was very cute banter. We had to acknowledge that.
Yes. Here's the problem, Bracken said, eyebrows scrunched. I feel young. My mind doesn't get beaten down by passing years, and neither does my body. It's part of my nature. Time does little to sap my youthfulness, but let's face it. However I may feel, I've existed for a long while. Chronologically, I make your grandparents look like infants, and you're not an adult yet.
Which, this entire paragraph does a lot to save Bracken as a character.
Yes. Because, or else it would be problematic.
Mm-hmm. Because as much as he has lived for thousands of years, it's not like, for example, a vampire having lived for thousands of years, because they were once mortal, and they are all still enduring that. Yeah. He is an immortal creature. He is not affected by time in the same way that, for example, the Eternals were. Like, he doesn't have that same weight hanging on him. He has still existed for super long time, so he does still have more experience than she does, but it's not quite the same as, like, as, for example, like Bella and Edward.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. Props to Bracken for recognizing this.
Props to Brandon for making this less weird.
True. That's true. There is more to say about it, but
there is.
We will talk about that in our overview episode.
And the other part that saves it is that he says, I'm going to step back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still have existed for a long time, and you're not an adult.
Yeah. I like how he says, I've been around long enough to recognize the importance of timing.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I care for you, but I know you're not quite an adult yet. Well, maybe in a few years, when you've grown up more, we can see where this might take us.
Let's put this on hold. I keep helping my mother rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
You keep helping the world rebuild. Then we'll see what the future takes us.
That makes Kendra feel so much better.
Which, I mean, it's the best of both worlds for her.
Yeah.
She was getting nervous. She's like, I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm like 15.
Yeah.
Barely 16. But also she was worried, like, does he like me? Like, was it just like comforting ourselves?
Was it just all in my head? You know.
So she has confirmation that A, Bracken likes her, and B, she'll have time to sort through her own feelings before she gets into an official relationship.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have the pressure, yet she still has that comfort.
And I like this part. Still, as she gazed up into his adoring eyes, she had a suspicion the crush might linger and grow into something more. After all, hadn't Patton married a naiad? Maybe in time she and Bracken could find a way to make a real relationship work. Maybe when the time was right, she could become an eternal and they could remain ageless together, protecting the world from evil. I understand, Kendra said. It makes sense.
And even he was a little nervous, like, because he says, a candid blend of relief and joy came over in Bracken's face. Like, he smiled, and he's like, you want to know the best part? Once we get things more how my mother wants them, I have permission to bring you to our kingdom from time to time. You'll be the first mortal to ever set foot there.
That sounds perfect, Kendra said. And she meant it.
And that's the end.
Mic drop.
We did it!
Woo! Yeah! We don't
Let
have a button
show.
That's an audience. Okay.
This one was only a 3-hour session.
Hey!
And it was a singular session!
Let's
we made
go!
It! It's only 9 o'clock on a Monday night.
We're fine. Well, we're done. We did it. I need to... High five.
Yes.
It's a good high five.
That was crisp.
That would hurt. Good high five. You know it's good if it hurts.
Whew. But yeah,
we have finally finished the series.
Feels good. Feels very, very good.
I love this last scene. Mm-hmm. I think even like before I knew Dragon Watch was going to happen, I thought it was a very good ending for the time being. Your hand is still tingling from the high five.
I'm still working my hand out. That burns.
Hey, I played volleyball. I give good high fives.
I stuff people in basketball. I don't give that good high fives. But yeah. No, it is a very good ending spot, and I can see why, like, even if, like, Brandon Mull had never decided to pick up these characters again, we could have all been satisfied.
It was a very satisfying ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably one of the best climaxes of all of his books, and I think maybe the most satisfying.
I feel like it. I don't know if I would. I don't know. It definitely like it's my favorite book he's ever written. I think so far. It has yet to be topped. There are things from other books that like I love, but I feel like as a cohesive whole, the 5th Fablehaven book is the best and it's my favorite. It's hard to beat.
I would agree with that. There are still 1 or 2 others where I'm just like, they're either tied or barely supersede. And once we get to those, like, you guys watch the tier list.
Yeah, if you've seen our tier list.
You know how we feel about these books.
Yeah.
You know which ones we put highest, and this one was, I think, 1st and 2nd on our respective lists.
Yeah.
And for good reason. It is a masterclass of resolving all of these different plot lines, character arcs, and, like, ideas into a single cohesive, fulfilling
ending. Mm-hmm. I think this is one where he sets it up and he sticks the landing
very solidly. Like, this is a Simone Biles landing right here.
Nice.
Thank you. All right. I
don't really know what else to say.
I don't think there is much else to say.
The thing is, okay, so don't worry, guys. We plan on doing a very last episode talking about the series as a whole, our thoughts as a whole on the final book, and talking about arcs and themes and all of these things, because we don't want to have you here for another 3 hours in just this episode, so we're again going to split it. But we have some final thoughts that we will be putting in the next episode.
We'll probably go to the reading guide again. Those have been a source for some really good discussion.
Yeah.
And I'm glancing on the write down. I'm particularly excited about question 13. Who is the coolest author ever? Is it the guy who wrote Fablehaven? If not, what's the matter with you? Explain.
That's funny.
That is a great question.
Because it's probably not him who writes these. It's probably the publisher or whoever.
Yeah. Probably a little mix of both, but
or editor.
I just find that funny.
It is funny.
But so yeah, I'm excited to talk about those. I'd like to spend maybe like half the time. It'll probably be a decent chunk of an episode. Like half the time talking about specifically this book, and the rest of the time just talking about this Fablehaven series as a whole. Mm-hmm. It'll just be a good, fun time where we can talk without any spoilers.
Finally.
We could be unleashed.
I mean, there is Dragon Watch,
we're ignoring that right now.
We're not talking about that right now. So.
Let me enjoy this.
Yes. And for any of you that don't know, we're not doing Dragon Watch next.
Yes.
We've spent this entirety of the podcast up to this point of commentating the Fablehaven books. So we're going to move on to Beyonders next and give this particular set of characters and world a break.
Yes. Now, before we do that though, before we move on to Beyonders, we do have to take a pause because, as you guys are probably aware, we did a poll on our YouTube channel where we asked what you guys would like as a little in-between episode now that we've finished Fablehaven. Now, give me a moment while I pull up the poll so I can just say it like word for word what it is. Yes. So on the poll, there were 4 options for different ideas of what we could do for our in-between idea or in-between episode. The winning options with 35% of the votes were
a tie. We had a tie.
Yeah, we had a tie because of course we did. nothing will ever be easy. Tier list ranking villains, so not just the books, but the villains of Brandon Mull's books, and also discuss the 10 best lines from Fablehaven.
Yes.
As well, if we're looking at the comments, the top comment was regarding... sorting our Brandon's characters into Harry Potter houses. And I would even raise that and say we could do it into Orders of Night Radiant.
No.
That could be fun, though!
I do not know the Orders of the Night Radiant well enough to do that.
There's a website I could send it to you.
No, we're doing the Harry Potter houses.
It would be Harry Potter houses.
We're honoring what the commenter wanted, not what we want to do. This is for our audience, Jessica.
Yes, I know. Okay.
Okay, so, because the poll had a tie, we will not have just 2 episodes, or we might do some of these as a video instead of an episode. Mm-hmm. We'll have the tier list ranking all the villains, which will be a video.
Yes. Similar to our other one.
Episode talking about our top 10 quotes from Fablehaven. So we'll each choose 10 quotes and then discuss them.
A very tall order.
Yes. It'll be interesting. Hopefully we don't forget any. And then either a video or episode sorting not all, obviously you can't do all, but a certain amount of characters, all the main characters at least, of Brandon's books into Harry Potter houses.
Yes.
So thank you all who participated in the poll. We super appreciate it. So we'll have, after these last 3 episodes of the Fablehaven series, we will do those episodes next.
Hope you guys look forward to them. I am especially personally looking forward to the tier list of villains. We had such a fun time doing the tier list of the books.
The books a few years ago, yeah.
I think the villains are going to be really fun. Like, just off the top of my head, with the Sphinx, Ronadin, Romaro, Trillian.
There's a lot of villains to discuss.
It's gonna be fun.
I think I'm gonna speed read some of the series so I can remember everything.
Yeah, it might not be a bad idea. Yeah. All right, but
that is all for this episode.
Finally done, man. Feels good.
Thank you all for joining us on this journey as we have discussed the Fablehaven books over the past 2.5 years. It has been a long time, but we are so happy for this journey that we have started, because this is just the beginning. This is only the first series that we have discussed on this podcast.
And there's much more to discuss. We also have some surprises for you guys down the road with regards to the Fablehaven movie, but we won't say more about that now. That's all we'll say.
Okay. Yes.
But look forward. There are exciting things to come.
Yeah, we'll be covering the movie as we learn more about it as well. So we are very excited for the future of the fandom and the community and all of Brandon Mull's works as a whole. But that does it for this episode of the Knights of the Dawn podcast. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Please go check out our YouTube channel. We'll be, obviously, as I said, uploading some more videos and episodes shortly on the channel. And if you want, you can leave us a comment and we'll do our best to reply. And we look at all of the ones that we get. Or if you want to contact us, you can at our email at knightsofthedawnpodcast@gmail.com. And please, if you know anyone that enjoys Fablehaven or any of Brandon Mull's other books, please share this podcast with them. We would love to keep growing this community and get more people, knowing and talking about the books and the movie and upcoming and everything. And we just love growing this community with you guys. But until next time, I'm Megan.
And I'm Jessica.
See ya!
Drink the milk.